My friend of 13 years confessed his love for me, and I'm livid.
Oh no, you ruined the friendship.
Ah, you've gone and ruined it.
Ruining it
You're
all.
ruining it. Oh,
Bummer.
bugger. Backstory. I met my friend Tom my freshman year of high school. He was a year older than me, but we were in a class together due to it being a mixed grade class. I found out we had a few mutual friends, and we ended up in the same social circles and at events/parties together, so a friendship formed between us. And by the way, this comes from user Unwanted Confession, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, Tom has always been there for me, and I thought he was a solid friend. When I was in a bad relationship, he was one of the few people who believed me when I told them about things my ex had done.
Of course he did.
Of course he did. And
he was like, yeah, of course he's terrible. You should leave him.
You should leave him for me, Tom. When I told him about the things that my ex had done, and in a few cases, he even protected me from him. After that relationship ended, 3 days later, he asked me out, but I told him I only saw him as a friend. He said he respected that and never brought it up again. I foolishly thought that was the end of that.
Yeah, man.
After high school, he was one of the few people I stayed in contact with occasional texting. A few years passed and we ended up seeing more of each other because we were doing a personal development/business mentorship group together. He now admittedly only joined because I was doing it. During this, I was seriously dating someone at the time who I eventually got engaged to and married.
Congrats.
Tom was even invited to the wedding, but never RSVP'd. A few years later, we started spending more time together again because of D&D. I had an open spot in my game and knew he still played, so I invited him. Because Tom doesn't drive, and the D&D games would end after the buses stopped working for the night, I would drive him home.
No.
I enjoyed our long talks about various topics. Unfortunately, the D&D group dissolved because of my own and one other divorce within the group. Plus, another person moved a few cities away and understandably didn't want to make the 2-hour drive. Due to events that followed my divorce, I went no contact with all but one brother in my family, which is a long story in itself. My then boyfriend, now fiance, and I are long distance, so whenever I would go through depressive episodes or drama happened with my family, Tom was one of those friends who I could call to be there. Hell, he even helped my fiance with a writing project he was working on, and they talked outside of me being involved. My fiance considered him to be a friend because we're adults and lead busy lives. Without playing D&D, our friendship settled into texting each other once every few months to catch up. Sometimes even grabbing dinner. We either always split the tab, or it was a you get this one, I'll get the next one deal. Also, before anyone screams that this seems one-sided, while Tom has been there for me, I've been there for him too. I would always listen to his job or relationship stress. I was one of the few people to accept his decision to leave the religion we grew up in. I was there through mental health struggles, and I even voiced some concern over his substance consumption. If he didn't have plans to celebrate a birthday, a new job, or any other accomplishment, I would be there. When I had an extra Comic-Con pass, I invited him.
Nice. Wow.
I did these things because that's what friends do in my book. And now we move on to the events in question.
Oh, no.
I really want to know what happened in that D&D session.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That would be nice to get the scoop. Anyway,
Love and Dragons.
Tom popped into my head the other day, and it was a mental note to text him to catch up when I had some time this week. He ended up beating me to it and texted me yesterday when I was doing a virtual date night with my fiance. Opening the message made me concerned. He started the message with, "Hey OP, hope you're doing well." Odd. We usually just message each other like our previous conversation never stopped. Or if there's a greeting, we say something along the lines of, "You popped into my head." He goes on to say he had an email he wanted to send me and was double checking to see if he had the right email address.
No.
Sending you the email confession is wild.
Sorry, that was my friend.
He sends like, send this to 10 people or you're cursed.
Yeah.
I'm in love with you.
Send your confession to the one who sent you their confession, or else 1,000-year curse, 1,000-year curse upon you.
Sorry, my friend sent that, but he goes to another school, so you don't know him.
Yeah, you don't know him. It wasn't me. Sorry, my brother hacked into my account.
Now, I'm no stranger to the warning signs of someone planning to self-delete, and I immediately had warning bells going off. since I was on a video call with my fiance and let him know my concerns and that I might need to cut our time short in case the worst was about to happen. Even he was concerned with how Tom was acting and said to keep him updated. I get the email and read through it. The start of the letter was oddly formal, and looking back on the entire thing again, it's weirdly romanticized. Think Mr. Darcy and his letter to Elizabeth in Pride and Prejudice. He says how he appreciates our friendship and how much of a big impact I've made in his life. He let me know that he is seeking help for his alcoholism and went back to the religion that he left. I have since left it. Reading through the first bit, it felt like a step towards AA or born again Christian stuff, which is okay, and that's cool. I'm glad he's headed in a direction he likes. I don't see why this has to be an email. He then pivots into saying how much he regrets it every time he thinks about how he didn't speak up, that he didn't like my ex-husband from the get-go because he felt he was bad news, which he ended up being, because he thinks if he had spoken up, he could have saved me a lot of heartache.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, dude, where's this going?
So like if I had spoken up, I could have married you.
Essentially, yes.
I could have saved you.
Could have been me.
Where are you? Something all the spiders. You're married to a spider. If I would have said it earlier, you'd be fine. You could have married me anyway. Oh. Okay, dude. Where is this going? Especially with just recently announcing my engagement last month, I'm thinking this is going to turn into him telling me he hates my fiance. But then he takes a left turn, and here comes the big whammy of how much he cares about me. And this is not just a simple confession, but a bold statement of his love for me. How every time over the years when he said he cared about me, he should have used the actual word he meant, love. How incredible he thinks I am, how I've made it into his journal entries often, and how he'll always be there if I ever need him no matter what. It doesn't matter if I'm married or single, sick or healthy, happy or sad, blah, 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 blah. I set my phone down. What the did I just read? I told my fiance the context of the email, and talking it over, I somehow convinced myself that Tom meant a brotherly, sisterly kind of love. My fiance needed to head to bed for the night, but he encouraged me to double check just in case. We said goodnight, and I honestly disassociated the rest of the afternoon. I texted Tom that evening, saying that I was happy he was seeking help with his alcoholism and found a place in religion he's happy with, and asked what he meant by love. He said he's trying to and hope to work towards a platonic love, but that's not what he meant. He apologized for any awkwardness it might cause, but he had to get this off his chest because it was making him lose sleep, and it's been haunting him for a while. He even said he talked it over with several people and knew he had to confront his feelings. I told him, in fact, this was awkward and complicated, and how I'll be letting my fiance know about his clarifications. I was then met with what felt like a passive-aggressive, and I'm paraphrasing slightly, "You can if you want, or we can go back to the friendship we had, but you do what you gotta do."
Dude, you ruined that. You ruined that friendship.
You took the genie out the bottle.
Blaming that on freaking OP?
I'm going to quote Kelly Inspiration right now. Some words are like venom. When they are released, there's no putting it back. Can't put the venom back in the snake.
Pandora's box, my
Once
guy.
the venom's out of the snake, you can't put the venom back.
You gotta suck it.
Now all you can do is suck the venom out.
Someone has to suck.
I didn't respond and went to bed for the night. This morning, after thinking it through, I texted him that I needed time to gather some thoughts, and I need him to respect that. Right now, I'm just angry, and I need to explore what this feeling is telling me. After that, he backpedaled, saying he was just about to text me and said we should lose each other's numbers and disconnect. How he's been mad at me for years, and how he's done with everything, and that our friendship should end here. Hold up. You just sent a lengthy email to me boldly declaring your love and how you'll always be there, but now that I've stated I'm upset, you've actually been mad at me for years and don't want me in your life anymore. Sounds like someone had an idealized version of me that was placed on a pedestal, and when I wasn't overly enthusiastic about his feelings, he was running away from the consequences because he didn't get the response that he wanted. It felt like the nice guy, well, actually, you're fat and ugly, when they get rejected. I tried to reply as maturely as possible, but I'll admit a little bit of anger seeped out into my next message. I told him I would respect his boundary if he wanted to end contact, but that he was being a coward to emotionally hit and run me like this. I explained to him how I wanted to process what I was feeling because anger is a symptom of a deeper emotion, and I didn't want to lash out and harm a relationship I still valued. He had already talked to multiple people about this and was able to process everything. I've had less than 24 hours to process, and it was unfair and one-sided of him to not give me the chance to do so. I told him I would respond to his email once I had done so, But if he decided to block my email address before I sent it, that was up to him. He said he would wait for me to respond. Now I'm trying to figure out what I'm feeling. I've always cared, and even to some extent loved him, but like a brother and a friend. He was my friend.
He was my friend.
He was my friend.
You are my brother, Anakin.
Oh, I was doing a Harry Potter.
I
reference.
knew you were doing Harry Potter.
He was that friend.
Why do guys do this? What did he expect? Oh my God, I didn't realize. Let's run off into the sunset together. Why did he have to tell me? He can have these emotions and not act on them. He can have them and never burden me with them. He can have them and just prefer to see me happy with the man I'm marrying and not go tipping any boats. He's even admitted how much happier I am, and he can tell my fiance and I are completely in love with each other. I don't get it. Just work through them and move on. Or if he really had to tell me, there are healthy ways you can communicate or awkward emotions. Dumping them on someone and then running off when you don't get the response you were hoping for is not one of them.
Nope.
Why did he have to pull this and ruin our friendship? Not to mention, when talking it over with a friend, they pointed out crushes fade and last a year or two at max until you move on. But 13 years? Love?
Yeah, that's wild.
Indeed.
13 years.
That's
A
a
wild
teenager.
man.
That's one that's like obsession. And it's also putting that person on this weird pedestal that like they will never actually live up to in your brain.
13
Or,
years.
you know.
13 years. Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's
man.
more
move
than a
on.
decade,
move
man.
on, man. Move on.
Mm-mm-mm.
He's acting like a 13-year-old.
Yeah, it's funny. He's just like
That's-
stunted over there. I literally did that where I was like, I have a crush on you. I really like you. She's like, do you? Because I don't. I was like, yeah, no, I was just kidding.
No, that was my friend.
Yeah, no, I was just kidding. You thought I was
Jokes.
serious? Oh my God, dude. You're
Jokes on
what?
you.
Got you. This has been something that has been thought about and given extensive energy to. I keep going over our entire friendship over and over. I treated him like I treat my current friends, but did he mistake my constant friendliness for something else? Was I leading him on? Did I ever do anything to encourage these feelings? Nope. Did I accidentally treat him differently than my other friends? I feel I even feel writing this because it sounds like, oh, boo-hoo, somebody loves and cares for me. But when you compile all of it together, it's really a heaping mess of someone caring for me with a hidden agenda. I feel and I feel so betrayed. In hindsight, I feel like I should have seen that he might have had deeper feelings, but he treated me like he treats all his friends, so how could I know? I thought Tom was a good and solid friend. I trusted him in a lot of things due to our long friendship, but it turned out that basically everything he did was because he romantically loved me. I'm also placed in an awkward spot of feeling crappy because it feels like I was using him, even if it was unknown to me. You weren't, though. I feel like I'm grieving the friend. You have to know you're using someone to be using them.
You weren't using him. You weren't using him.
Right.
He was using you.
You were a genuine friend, and I hate
Yeah.
that because OP thinks that now, like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm
it's like,
the
it
worst
feels like
person.
the friendship,
Yeah.
is tainted.
Ugh. Friend I thought he was. I feel like I lost a friendship, but I guess there wasn't one, or at least not a genuine one. By the way, we have genuine, bona fide, full episodes with stories like this available for your listening pleasure at iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you can listen to podcasts. All you got to do is search OK Storytime, and you've got
51
2,
days.
skip to my Lou, 1,200 plus hours of
51
stories to listen
freaking
to.
days,
Counting.
man.
We have a little bit more story here. Do you have anything else?
There is this feeling of guilt and blaming yourself, especially when a man acts like this in a relationship, where like in a friendship like this, where you're like, oh, maybe I did lead them on. Maybe I did this and this. And maybe if I had acted like this, you know, I could have prevented this. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. They were making
Nah.
up things in their mind about the relationship.
Yeah. OP said it themselves. So like, oh, you had this pedestal of this
Yep.
like thought of me and
Yeah,
what
just
we
now.
could have been and what
Mhm.
we were in your brain.
Literally,
Yeah.
the only way that you could have let him on is if he said, I want to go out with you. And you said, so do I. And then you went out with him, but didn't
And
like
then-
him.
And you're like,
And then
I
you went
love
out with
you.
him for 13
years and didn't like him. And then
Yeah.
told him after 13 years, you were like, actually, I've never liked you. I
Yeah.
don't want to get married.
He was
That
leading
would be
you
leading
on.
on.
He's leading
He
you
was leading
on
you on
that
for
you
friendship.
are his friend. Anyway, so let's finish this story. At first, I thought maybe somehow we could be mature, find common ground, and keep our friendship intact. But now the whole friendship is tarnished. Looking back on every interaction, and I don't know if I can continue being friends with someone who is and has been pining after me for most of our 13-year friendship. Not to mention, after how he acted this morning, I don't think there's ground to stand on. Honestly, I don't know if once I process things, if I'll even email him back. What would I say? You're a butthole for letting me believe you were my friend, but really you had hidden feelings that drove you to pretend to be my friend? At least I have therapy next week, because I certainly know what will be the topic of discussion. It'll be that guy.
But that's the end of that story.
Shoot, yeah, that is the end of that story.
My friends keep playing matchmaker, and I want them to stop.
Why don't you cut it out, friends?
Cut.
I want to be single for the rest of my life.
For the rest of my days. Hey, everybody. I'm hoping to get some advice on my current predicament between myself and my friends, Sam and Sarah. You see, I am very unattractive. I don't mean that as a put down on myself, but an objective fact about my appearance. By the way, this comes from UCGPMEI on the ROK Storytime subreddit. So, I have a very naturally unappealing face with several body scars that make me difficult to look at for some people. I've had most of these scars most of my life, and of course I was born with my face, so I've never been much to look at. I've tried to compensate in other aspects of life. I have a decent job, I'm tall, and I'm in very good shape. I go to the gym and eat well. Sadly, this is far from enough to make up for how I look. I've had very few relationships and only one spicy sleep partner, though I prefer it never happened after the fact. And though I certainly tried.
Really fast,
Yeah.
because like clearly you are tall, you are in shape, and you have a good job, which for a lot of people, they don't even care what you look like if you have those three things.
That's true.
So I think what you might be dealing with actually is a crippling self-perception that you can't do this thing, which is like be attractive or like get a partner or a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whoever you're attracted to. If you automatically think that you can't or that you're not, then that's what you will be.
All right, put myself out there for years and was rejected by dozens of women for meeting one that I thought would be able to look past my appearance. I lost my virginity to her and everything, but after a month, she came to my place crying and saying though she found me attractive as a person, she couldn't get over my appearance and had felt terrible. She confessed spicy sleep with me was extremely difficult the 2 times we did it due to how I look.
Turn off the lights.
Honestly.
The party's over.
She did not have to say any of this.
Yeah,
this
just-
is not helping anyone. So I told her I understood. Oh, my heart.
Well, this is fine. This is what happens.
OP. And we went our separate ways. I'd have been happier if we'd been friends and never dated, if I'm being honest. That was several years ago, and I swore off romantic love and spicy sleep since it was just hurting me. Life has been pretty good since I gave up. Usually not a good sentence.
Yeah, not the best sentence.
Wish I wasn't what I am so I could find love, but I get it. I made some great friends, Sam and Sarah. Hey, been friends with them for a few years now and we get along great. The only issue is that they are in relationships and have this fantasy about going on triple dates with me included. Problem is, of course I don't date, and so they have been trying to play matchmaker. There have been probably 7 or 8 attempts now to get me with some friend or acquaintance of theirs, ranging from being blindsided with a date when I thought I'd just be there with them, or inviting girls to parties and trying to get us together all night. I hate it. I feel bad for these girls because obviously they weren't told about this either, and now they have to play nice with the weird, ugly guy their friends dumped them on. Not only that, but there is this look in their eyes that I'm sadly used to now. Oh, it's a sad combination of sadness and fear that overcomes them when we make eye contact.
I would bet every dollar to my name that this guy has really bad burn scars. That's the only thing I can think of where it's like, where the guy's like, no, this is just a fact. This is just the way I am. I was born ugly and I have body scars, and it's like,
I think he's
you know,
perceiving things that aren't there.
it definitely could be a thing.
I can feel them looking at every mark on my face, getting more and more grossed out and uncomfortable. Of course they're scared. This 6'6" man who looks like Frankenstein's monster has become your date for the night. I'd be scared too. I tell them every time not to set me up as I don't want to date, but they get so excited to finally find the one. for me that they do it anyways. So backstory aside, I keep telling Sam and Sarah to stop setting me up. And last week they came over to hang out and Sarah kept mentioning this friend of hers from work and starts showing me pictures. I see where this is going, and when I find out they invited her to Sam's party in a few weeks, I say, cool, I look forward to meeting her, but this isn't a date. I won't be letting them push me onto this poor girl. She's cute, and from what they tell me, I'm sure we get along great if I were normal, but that just isn't the case. Sarah begins to get upset at me and asks me why I don't just give her a shot, so I asked her if this girl had even seen a picture of me or heard about me. She admitted that she had not and hadn't planned on showing her my pic or even telling her about me until the night of the party. I'll admit I snapped and told both of them to stop playing matchmaker.
Well, I mean, yeah, at that point you should, because that's not how you do that. Whoever you're setting this guy up with, like, should see a picture of him, should know of his existence. It should not be a fully blind date.
I was sick of it and showed them texts from two of the girls they victimized. They were kind enough to tell me they liked me but weren't physically attracted to me. Showed the text and Sarah and Sam made an excuse and left. Haven't heard from them in a week. How can I fix this? I made my peace with the fact that I will never know romantic love, but I need friends. Some of OOP's comments. Show us a pic of yourself. The last person I trusted to show my pic sent it to a group chat to laugh at me. I don't like putting it out there anymore. Sorry. Commenter. If your friends did show your pics, would you agree to the matchmaking then? OOP. Part of me wants to say I would, but after having the last relationship end the way it did, I'd rather not risk it. Commenter. This isn't a joke or meant to be mean, but maybe someone who is visually impaired would be able to appreciate the real you. I think you sound cool. Best wishes. OOP. I consider this at one point, but then she had to deal with potential harassment over being the blind or visually impaired girl who settled for the ugly guy. Or I'm seen as the beast that took advantage of her. I'm not putting some poor innocent girl through that.
So
I don't think you need to find a visually impaired person. I think there's so much possibility out there for OP to find someone who finds him attractive.
Sure. I mean, like, again, we don't know what OP looks like. And like, look, I'm not saying that you need someone who's like blind, but it's like,
oh, you're agreeing with this?
I don't see how it might not like make some level of sense. But at the same time, it's not like you can be like, oh, sorry, you're not blind, I can't date you. It's like, no, it's just like, if that ends up happening, then sure, that ends up happening. But it's
if
like,
it ends up, sure.
Don't go out of your way to try to make that happen.
Yeah, I don't need your only chance is a visually blind person.
Yeah, right. That's because that's wrong.
Yeah.
I think really the thing here is that from my perspective, and I don't know if everyone will like come after me for this, or like people really like taking everything seriously all the time, right? But it's like me personally, I deal with a lot of stuff that is bad that happens to me, and also to other things in the world. I deal with it through humor and through irreverence. And I think if OP, instead of like being like I'm protecting the world by taking myself out of the dating pool, you need to be like, I'm ugly and I don't care. There's other parts of me that are great. You should get to know them. If you can just close your eyes while we talk, it'll probably be a lot easier. Like if you can just lean into it and make it like something that you can accept about yourself instead of this thing that you feel like is just like this constant cloud that follows you around.
Something you're hiding or ashamed of.
Yeah, you need to get rid of the shame and just stop caring entirely. Bring as much irreverence to the table as you can. And I think that will drastically impact. And again, that is way easier to say than do. My personality is completely different from yours. Like, we're all different. I think continuing to think of yourself as a monster is not of help to anyone.
Commenter, if you don't want to date, that's fine. But it's no more your place to decide for that potential woman what she has to deal with, and it is your friend's place to decide what you'd be happier in a relationship. You don't need to justify your decision to stay single, so it makes it sound like you're trying to be some sort of hero saving someone from what? Loving you and being happy with you? You should be single because that's what you want, not because that's what you think others want. OOP, I've seen what being with me physically does to a woman. It broke the only woman unfortunate to have spicy sleep with me.
All right, buddy. Slow down.
Reality check.
You haven't broken anybody.
She just decided she wasn't interested.
And you know what? She probably felt horrible about it too. And it's not that you broke her. It's that she was like, my God, I can't be with this guy because I'm not attracted to him and I can't And it's like she felt bad about having to inevitably tell you that.
That happens all the time.
Nobody's broken here.
I just can't do that to another person. I've hurt enough people. Commenter, in quotes, if I were normal, in quotes, a combination of sadness and fear that overcomes them. Poor unsuspecting woman, Frankenstein's monster, 2 of the girls they victimized. Please, dude, get some help. These comments about yourself are very unkind and very unnecessary and very extreme. This isn't the writing of someone whose life has been pretty good. OOP, I'm not exaggerating. My appearance frightens people. I'm not normal. Hey everyone, I figured since posting here the other day ended up being an overall cathartic experience, and since I have a very happy update, I'm back to share.
I think somebody's got a whole new outlook on life.
You think so?
Yep, let's get into it.
After spending hours reading and responding to others, both in thread and in DMs, I decided to reach out to Sam and Sarah and try to set things right. We met up to talk, and to keep it short, Sam and Sarah hadn't reached out because they felt terrible after realizing their mistakes. They were very apologetic, and I promised that as long as they stopped trying to set me up and forgave me for snapping at them, that we were cool with each other. Looks like communication saves the day again. It always does.
Literally every time.
So after our talk, they asked if I wanted to come over and play some games and have a few drinks with them and some of their work friends. Sarah admitted the girl Laura that they wanted to set me up with would be there, but they hadn't said anything to her about me, and there would be no pressure or matchmaking going on. So I agreed to go. So last night I came over for drinks and games. I met Laura without some stupid blind date pretext, and she's a lovely person. We have several interests in common, and she and I have very similar jobs within different companies, so we have a lot to talk about. It's great. They didn't meddle, and I got a new friend. Easy peasy. Heck, we get along so great. She's inviting me to her place tonight to watch some movies we both learned were some of our favorites. Yo. Okay, then some pizza and complaining about working in IT. So my social life is alive and well, it seems.
There you go.
Bro.
Look at you go. Look at you go.
You're going on a date and you don't know it.
Well,
hey, I think
it could be a date. Maybe they're just platonic friends.
Dude,
but still.
Dakota.
This is how confidence is built.
Yes. And also, if you met a woman, you were hitting it off, both single, and she invites you to her place for the first hangout to watch a movie, what are you thinking in your head?
I'm like, I hope this movie's good because I'm scared of this lady.
That's about as far as my update is concerned. Sam, Sarah, and I are cool. I made a new friend, and I got to talk to so many wonderful people on Reddit. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to read my posts and give me your opinions and advice. There are some really good, great folks in this community. Heck, I'm still receiving a few messages a day of kindness from you awesome people. Top comments. She invited you over for pizza and a movie at her place. I think you have more of a shot than you realize. I agree.
Yes.
Dude, I agree.
Yeah, it's
Come on.
pretty fair.
Come on.
That's pretty fair.
Okay, Spacey JC, even if this girl isn't interested, I think this will help you relax and put less pressure on yourself about your looks.
Exactly.
Maybe you aren't the most attractive guy, but you seem like an interesting, intelligent person, so just be happy with yourself for your good qualities. Alarming Sprinkles 87, I just want to throw it out there. I don't know what you look like and also could not really care less because I've met some ugly people in my life and I am 300 pounds. Just don't knock yourself down a few notches. I don't give a crap what you look like. You've got a good job. You're safe around women, you're in shape, and care about your well-being. You maintain communication and friendships, you have boundaries and realistic expectations, you're respectful. The way you look is the least interesting part of you. Somebody's out there for you, and I will also recognize that your face is the last interesting part of you. It appears all of my posts are being removed. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to fix this. A few years ago, I came to Reddit to ask about an issue I was having with my friends trying to set me up on blind dates. I've linked those posts above for context. I'm physically very unattractive due to various circumstances in my life, leaving me scarred, which causes issues in blind dating, as you might guess. I then updated it after we would resolve the issue. The woman they were going to try and set me up with before our argument, Laura, ended up being really cool, and without the pressure of it being a blind date and just us hanging out with a larger group, we clicked and we're fast friends. We hung out the night after at her place to watch movies and eat pizza. It was great. We started hanging out more and more as time went on, and eventually she asked me out!
Yes!
Let's go!
Yes!
Let's go! I was terrified initially, but decided to go for it. She's not bothered by my scars. She looks at me with kindness and warmth that is indescribably wonderful to me. Laura and I are still together.
Yes.
We got a place together not too long ago and I intend to propose to her early next year.
Yes.
Let's go. Sam, Sarah, and I are still great friends. We now go on those triple dates they always wanted.
Look at everything coming together
My
here.
heart's about to explode.
Look at it.
We even did our first Friendsgiving with them, their significant others, and their kids. Laura loves getting to cook for a house full of guests, and we intend to try and host more group meals now that we have a place with space for it.
Wow.
And if you want some space,
We've got space for you right here.
just come and join us live on YouTube and Facebook every weekday at 3 p.m. PST, and we're probably live right now. So just tap our profile.
Yes, go check that out right after this because we got a little bit of story left.
We're almost there. It wasn't easy, but with a growing support network and Laura and my friends, I was able to finally get some more help for my mental health to work on my insecurities and trauma.
Let's go.
Been going for over a year now, and progress is slow but steady.
Hey.
Laura has been my rock. Dude, finally a happy story.
Yes.
I love her more than I ever hated myself, so it's been easier than I expected to keep going to therapy appointments.
Yes.
So that's about it. I was in a very dark place, and some kindness from internet strangers helped me through a rough patch, so I wanted to repay them by at least posting an update, even if most of these people have since moved on.
Yes.
Let's go. Yo,
Yes.
this story warms my heart so much.
Yes.
I'm
My heart's doing little flips. Heart's
dude,
doing little flips for you, and Laura.
I needed
OP.
this.
Happy endings. They are out there.
They exist.
They can happen, and it would have never happened if he had stayed in that mindset,
If he had stayed in the little
Which-
cave he built for himself.
you know, and his friends were contributing to that by forcing these blind dates on him.
They had
But
best
he
intentions.
Did have, and what did we learn here today, ladies
Tell
and gentlemen?
us, Dakota.
Clear and open communication is the key to all relationships.
Yeah.
My best friend uninvited me from her wedding, so I canceled plans with her.
Done. No wedding.
Yep, we can't go to brunch anymore, Martha. You won't let me in your wedding. Am I, 38 female, the a-hole when I canceled plans with my best friend, 41 female, and probably ruined a 16-year friendship? So this is crowding my mind for weeks, and I still don't know what to do. By the way, this comes from Sufficient Seesaw 19 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So let me start at the beginning. I will try to make it as short as possible, but I guess you need some info. English isn't my first language. Since I was a kid, I've always been bullied through preschool and high school. Even in my first job, I was the chubby, introverted kid with weird hair. The friends that I seem to have made never turn out to be real friends, or they're just bad friends. One stole my father's wallet, to give you an example. When I was 11, my mother passed of cancer, and after that, things happened that also gave me trust issues with my family and made me decide I couldn't trust anyone. I had to do things on my own and certainly couldn't confide in anyone how I felt because it seemed like no one seemed to care. At 12, I was already being an adult, cooking dinner for myself and my 3-year-old brother and cleaning the house because my father had irregular shifts for work. For me, it was normal, but I went from kid to adult in a split second. At 15, I met my now husband. Yes, he had a hard time with my trust issues, but I'm 38 now and we are still going strong. My husband played sports when I met him and invited me to join his team. It's a sport where male and females play on the same team. That's where I met Emma. Volleyball has to be volleyball. For some reason, we connect immediately. At first, I was careful to share things with her, but over time, she became the person I trusted the most besides my husband. We were texting on a daily basis and would go to the movies weekly, concerts, festivals, weekend trips, theme parks. We would crack up over silly things and went on vacations with each other and had each other's back through thick and thin. In the winter, she always suffered from winter depression, and I always tried to take her out and make sure she was okay, as she did with me when I yet again was having a hard time at work. No matter what happened, she was always there for me, and I was there for her. And we would tell each other everything. She also had met her boyfriend at a young age, and already we were together when I met her. But he was a lot older than her and a real introvert. The things she liked and wanted to do never seemed to be the things he wanted. She would like to see the world, not him. He wanted a pet, not him. She wanted to go on dates, not him. You get the picture. But somehow, it seemed to work for the both of them. They never got married and did not have kids. We don't have kids as well. But we got married, and she was there with the bachelorette party and the ceremony. She also did not feel the need to meet up with me and my husband as a couple. So, in the 16-year friendship, we only met up as couples once. Truth be told, my husband didn't mind because they have no common interest. She always lived 5 minutes away from me, but 3 years ago, her husband wanted to move to his forever home where he could see himself grow old. They found a house an hour away. At first, Emma didn't like it because it was far away from everyone and everything. But he reeled her into it with the promise that she could have pets on the large ground surrounding the house. So they moved in, and truth be told, the house was stunning. We didn't see each other weekly anymore, but the friendship was still going strong. However, their relationship was not. After some time, Emma became lonely because it was just now becoming more obvious that they didn't share many interests. She tried a lot of things to get the relationship on a good level, but it just didn't work. We talked for hours about it, and I always listened and told her that she needed to do what made her feel happy. I never judged her when she went exploring what she wanted while also going to therapy counseling. Always saying you need to do whatever makes you happy. This was obvious things wouldn't work out between them, but they still hadn't broke off the relationship. But at the end of the relationship, Emma met her old neighbor, and they hit it off immediately. By old neighbor, I mean the neighbor of her parents. He was an adult starting a family when she was a young teenager when they lived next to each other. He got his kids when Emma was still in her teenage years. You can understand that not everyone is open-minded, and I have had to defend her choice to date, yet again, an older man. I just hope this old guy is a better fit than this other dude.
I think the old guy's fine. It's just Emma
Well,
rushed
we
into
don't know
it.
yet.
We don't know.
We just know
We
he
don't
had
know.
kids
Yeah.
and was neighbors
Yeah.
with her parents.
Yeah, and they're like, whoa.
Telling people that it's up to her who she dates. Again, I didn't judge her. As long as she was happy, I was happy. She ended the relationship and moved back to town next to me. That's when things started to change. I told her if she needed help moving or painting, that I would be happy to help. She never asked for my help. Our normal daily contact was gone, but I thought she was busy with moving. That's okay. But after 3 weeks of not hearing anything, I became concerned and literally asked her, "I'm worried. Are you okay?" She texted back that she was fine, just busy and tired. Again, I told her if she needed help, she could ask me, but that wasn't necessary. Her parents were helping her and her new boyfriend. I let it be and went to visit to look at her new house. Her new boyfriend was there as well, and we had some small talk. Nothing weird, but the contact became less frequent. She texted me once in 3 weeks. At first, I texted her right back, happy to hear from her, but after several times of not getting a response back within the days, but weeks, I stopped texting right back away as well. I was disappointed, but thought she has a new house, new relationship. She's on cloud 9. She'll come back.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can give her some time and space. Let her do her thing. She'll reach out.
She didn't.
Oh, never mind.
Whenever I asked if we could meet, she said she had plans or she was tired because it turned out that her thyroid didn't work properly. So eventually I told her, "You let me know when you want to meet up because I don't know when she's too tired." We met up for the first time after 6 months.
After moving back to the town?
Ooh, and this
That's
sucks for
crazy.
OP because this is like her only friend that she's had her whole life.
Yeah, and I think this is also on OP here because OP's like, "Friend, this is my friend. Like, I want to hang out. I want to hang out. I want to do this."
I don't think so. I think she just was like,
Do you
used to everything was cool and chill, but after she got with this new guy, something changed.
She's probably just, laying really low. And I know you have a support system, and one of your best support systems is friends and
Yeah.
ones that care about you. But sometimes you just need to just really lay low, and I get that.
Yeah.
You just need to just have your own time and have your own space. It takes some time. If Emma if Emma communicated that, that's fine. But the
Yeah.
thing is, she never did. She's like, "It's fine. It's fine. It's fine." So I feel bad for OP, but I know OP was trying to do the right thing.
We met for the first time after 6 months. Everything was normal, and I noticed she had a sparkling ring around her finger. So I immediately asked if he popped the question. She admitted that he did, but no one knew it because it was going fast. I was so happy for her. We talked about the wedding. she told me that she didn't want a wedding dress because it would be a small wedding. I respected her decision, but felt a bit disappointed as well because we had talked about making an appointment for fun about wedding dresses a few years prior, because she would possibly never wear one. The contact still dramatically decreased, where at one point I just became fed up with it, but I never showed or told her. We did meet again after that, and she said maybe we could meet up as a couple. I told her I would ask my husband. So I did, and he said that now was not a good time for him, and I do understand. He got a promotion and works 50 hours a week and just wants to unwind when he's home and not meet new people. So I let her know, and her reaction was not what I expected. She shut me down when I tried to explain and told me we should talk about it again in person. I agreed, also wanting to talk about their lack of response. So we met up, and in the first hour, all is good and friendly. Then she said out of the blue, I bought my wedding dress. I was kind of hurt, knowing she went shopping for a dress without me. But okay. Then she said, because you and your husband didn't want to meet up with us as a couple, you're both not invited to the wedding. I was flabbergasted. What? Dude,
What?
Dude. OP's your friend, not OP's husband.
What?
What?
And also, like, it's now on your terms, like just like that, because of just one little blip.
I think she was finding an excuse. She's like, how can I get this woman to not?
No,
be a part of my life anymore?
something must have happened. It's not between, I think, with Emma, not with OP, but like something
Yeah.
must have just like clicked with Emma, and something's not going right.
She explained that they don't want people on their wedding that they feel uncomfortable with, and since we didn't want to meet up with her, her boyfriend feels uncomfortable and rejected by us. Therefore, we're not invited. I agree. You should not have people in your wedding you don't feel comfortable with. But if it were me, I would have told him, well, tough luck. We'll meet with my friend alone because I'm not inviting my best friend of 16 years. She said she felt weird only meeting with me to get to know me. So that was not an option. So that was it. And I had to respect their choice. She also didn't want some of his friends on their wedding, and he agreed with that as well. And it would be a small wedding anyways, just 12 people, only the reception and dinner. I told her that I didn't have words for it and that I also felt rejected by her new boyfriend. It also made no sense to me that he would feel comfortable enough with me and my husband after one meetup to invite us to the wedding. Felt like a stupid excuse.
Yeah, you called it, but that's a small wedding. Of course, you don't want to invite anyone that makes you uncomfortable to
Yeah.
your wedding. That's your wedding, your rules, your choice. But you just needed one meetup to be like, all right, they made the cut.
I think Emma has something against OP and she's just taking her out.
It's either that or the new boyfriend, soon to be husband, is extremely controlling. That's what I'm getting at, because she's like, I met this new guy. I can't talk to you. I'm just doing my thing. And I think that's what's going on here.
Then we went to the point of less contact. She told me that she was very disappointed that I didn't help her move and help paint her house.
Excuse me?
That I didn't come visit her that much in her new house, and also a lack of response to message her back. I couldn't believe what she said. I seriously began to doubt myself and told her that I did ask her several times if she needed help. And yes, a few months I did react immediately after a new text, but that was a reaction on her lack of response. She said that it was both of us then that we needed both to put more effort in our friendship.
All right, I'm done. I'm done.
I agreed. Maybe I had become a bit bitter and needed to do my best more,
No.
but we weren't finished. Told me that we couldn't have the friendship we had as before because of her thyroid.
This thyroid is ruining our friendship. This thyroid was the last straw, because we cannot be friends because of my thyroid.
She was frustrated that I was still asking her to come to the movies, theme parks, and concerts. She says she can't do that anymore. Yet she does go to the movies and other activities with her boyfriend and other people like his adult children. She told me she went out with 2 nights in a row. One included even ice skating. So again, not sure how to react. She never told me that she couldn't do those things anymore, that she was just tired. If I had known, I would have not suggested to go out and would have suggested a movie night in with snacks or something that costs less energy. I know more people have problems with their thyroid, but they live their lives and they're okay. My brain was fried at that moment, tears streaming down my face, and I think I was in sort of a shock because I could not stop trembling. She told me that she changed as a person and that she'd learned to stand up for herself.
What do you, dude? This is weird.
And that she's right. She did change. I'm happy for her that she found her voice, but I don't think I deserve to be treated that way after all these years. And to be honest, I don't recognize my friend anymore. She feels nothing like the person I can tell anything to anymore. After that, we parted ways and she gave me a hug, telling me again that we both needed to work on this friendship and let that sink in.
What friendship now? There's no more friendship. You just ended the friendship.
I would like to hear from Emma's side what the heck is going on. Because one, we're either missing a lot of context, or two, she is totally not on this planet.
No, you don't need that. I'm out.
Yeah, get out, get out.
16 years of friendship. I mean, hey, that happens. You're friends for so long and you like are literally two peas in a pod. It does happen. People do change. And like Opie said, Opie's like, I'm happy for her. It sucks, but I can't change that. And, I'll let you be. I'm the same me. You be you.
I drove home and sat on the couch. My husband asked how it went, and I broke down. The last time I cried so uncontrollably was when my mother passed. Emma kept telling me through our conversations that she didn't want to hurt me, but she did hurt me so much more than I think she ever could understand. It's been weeks since we had this conversation. I lost over 22 pounds because I felt like crap, and I'm constantly emotional, racking my brain if I indeed am that bad of a friend, what I could have done different. My husband also feels really bad because if he would have agreed to meet with them, this would have not happened. This is not your fault, guys. I don't blame my husband for 1 second, though. This would have happened anyways. I also told him he didn't need to feel obligated to meet up with someone who didn't show interest in him for 16 years, but now because of her new boyfriend, he needs to be interested as well? That's not how it works. A few days after that evening, she texted me asking how I was and asking if I wanted to see her new home. She recently moved in with her new boyfriend. I'm happy to hear from her. I said yes. And you should say yes to listening to more stories just like this on your favorite freaking podcast platforms. Just search up OK Storytime on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to them. We have stories just like this.
This is all so much that if I were OP, I'm like, I'm mentally fried. And yeah, sure, I care for you, but I'm just tired. Now I'm the tired one. I guess just keep on your toes, OP, and we'll see what happens when you go to her new place. But you have your best friend. Yeah. Your husband. It's great. You can make new friends. It's never too old. You're never too old to make new friends and meet new people. I know you want to maintain this relationship because it's your oldest one, but sometimes it's just, there's nothing left to squeeze out of it.
Yeah. It's time to throw this lemon away. Now, after thinking everything through, I'm not sure what to do. Everything shifted between us to the point I think that things will be weird. And also, her boyfriend will be there as well because it's his house. Maybe I'm petty, but he voted against me to come to their wedding because he didn't want to get to know me as a person without my husband. And she didn't do anything to defend or fight for me and our friendship. So now I'm actually don't have any interest in getting to know him as well. I'm not sure if I want to be in her life anymore. Because do you belong in someone's life when you didn't invite them to your supposed to be best friend to something as important as your wedding? So am I the a-hole if I cancel plans and probably ruin my friendship when I tell her the reason I don't want to meet up? OP, no. You have boundaries. You have found boundaries. And this should be reversed.
Yeah.
You should have sat where Emma was sitting, switched seats, and said what Emma said to her.
She should have been the one crying.
She should have.
I think she should have definitely reached out and stopped playing the blame game.
Yeah.
Just so exhausting. You put in so much effort into something and then you stopped pushing on that door and that door opens up and it's all your fault. That's crazy. My friendship of 11 years is falling apart. I think I need to cut ties with her.
She's the problem, not me.
This requires a bit of a backstory, so sorry for the long post. I'll try to keep it as brief as I can, smiley face. I, female 20, have been friends with Jay male 21, let's say James, for 11 years. We met in school in year 5, ages around 9 to 10. Around the same time, we also had a friend, F, female 20, let's call that Frankie, who joined our school slightly later due to bullying in her previous school. By the way, this comes from user alertbutterfly2217, and you can submit your stories on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. From 9 to 16, we three were inseparable. Like every lesson and waking hour was spent with or talking to each other in some form. Other friends joined at points, but we were swiftly kicked out oftentimes because Frankie had argued with them about something petty that schoolgirls usually argue over. Being left out of sleepovers or just not getting on with Frankie. I would occasionally argue with Frankie, but we were both strong-willed and quite stubborn people, which would later be the downfall of our friendship. In sixth form in the UK, this is ages 16 through 18, junior and senior year of high school for reference, Frankie decided to move schools, so me and James were heartbroken and worried our tight-knit group would start to fade. I will admit, I was partially excited with sixth form. This means parties, opportunities to mix with people we hadn't yet and had a chance to. I haste to say that Frankie didn't let us, as we did stick to our trio, but she did make it incredibly difficult to branch out. A few new people joined mine and James's friend group at school. We had a group about 5 of us, with Frankie included. We always tried to make our best to make her part of our plans where it was possible. Frankie really didn't like one of these people, a girl called L, Lizzie, female 20, and would constantly itch and say she was trying to steal me and James from her. Lizzie was and still is my best friend. She's in no way a bad person. Fast forward to university, we all split and move across the country to our various universities. James decided to host me and Frankie to come down for a few days to his university, and whilst we're there, Frankie immediately starts to flirt with James's housemate. No biggie. I have James. James comes down with the flu the next day, and I'm left third wheeling with them. Slightly annoying, but whatever. She spends the night with this guy. Again, no judgment. I really don't care. Get your freak on, Frankie. And she and him are loudly having spicy sleep, which we can hear from 2 doors down. So she really got her freak on. She wakes us up at 6 a.m. An hour before I'm up to catch my train home and is loudly talking about the whole event. I got on the train, miffed, to be honest, because for separate reason, it wasn't the best weekend. Frankie gets close to Lizzie, and Lizzie tells me she's not free to meet up one day. An hour later, I get a snap of her and Frankie together. This is the only time Lizzie is mentioned in a negative light. University was tough at this point, and seeing them together was the final straw. I cried to my parents, who told me to block them both. So I did. James's birthday is a few weeks after this, and he wants to do a big gathering, Frankie and Lizzie included. I unblock them both and attend the drinks. Frankie tells me over text she has missed me. I apologize and say I missed her too. When we meet up, she doesn't acknowledge me at all. And after going to a couple of bars, she starts shouting at me whilst we're smoking, telling me how she had unaliving thoughts and wanted to drop out and that it's all my fault. I was baffled. I legitimately had only blocked her 2 weeks ago. Frankie says, I don't know what she's been through, and I argue back that she never once asked how I was, and therefore could not speak. I was feeling the exact same, by the way. Somehow, we reach a stalemate and agree to move on from here. I don't think you should move on from here. That's a weird thing to move on from. That's a very serious conversation to have with your friend that you so care about, it seems like. A couple months later, me, James, Frankie, and her boyfriend, surprisingly James's housemate from before, decide to go clubbing, and she spends the evening telling me how much she missed me and wanted to be my friend again. I agreed. Lizzie told me the next day that Frankie had said that she only agreed to be neutral for James's sake. Yikes. Cut to summer. James invites me over for drinks. Me and Lizzie are still close as ever, and Frankie isn't speaking to me, but is insulting me to Lizzie, which Lizzie is then telling me. Don't you just love that? Frankie's your best friend and misses you so much that she's going to talk behind your back to one of your closest friends too? James tells me last minute that Frankie will be there too. Cue to me sobbing to my parents. I decide to go, and I'm going to brave it. Me and Frankie are shockingly getting on. She's talking about her boyfriend, and I am in turn trying to relate. Typical undiagnosed neurodivergence by speaking about the guy I'm currently talking to as well. She leaves, and I stay with James. Lizzie tells me that Frankie's been saying that I only spoke about a guy I'm not even dating, and that she couldn't get a word in edgeways. Blah, 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 blah. She's still itching about me to Lizzie from August to December. Shock, horror. James invites me to his for Halloween. I make a few mistakes and I'm so embarrassed I profusely apologize to him both that night and also over text once I'm back home. Okay. In December, I text James asking if he wants to meet up for a couple of drinks for his birthday. First round on me type vibes. And he says he is busy with family, so no. Not a long message. It was more dry and it hurt my feelings a bit. I only got more hurt seeing that James and Frankie were out clubbing together in our hometown. And at this point, I still assumed that Frankie actually partially liked me. LOL. OP, what are you doing? Why are you still seeing Frankie in the limelight? Why do you think Frankie's still your friend after she's talking mad crap about you? You're kind of being an a-hole to yourself by like not confronting her about any of this. It kind of you're irking me. So you got to call out your friends. They're your friends. You can communicate. Oh, well, Frankie, I don't know about Frankie, but you got to communicate. And also, we don't know if Lizzie's talking behind your back. I don't like that. A few months later, minimal contact with Frankie and James is slipping off the radar. I am home for Easter, and James refuses to see me again. This is fine. People get busy. I don't think that's him getting busy. James comes to my birthday this summer. Our whole friend group, including Frankie, were invited. Frankie speaks to Lizzie and goes, why the F would she even invite me to her crappy birthday? And at this point, I sense she's deliberately saying these things to Lizzie, knowing she'll come straight to me. At my party, James tells me, Frankie doesn't want anything to do with you or even to be in your vicinity, which is tough to hear from someone you consider a best friend like Frankie. Just message and tell me this. Again, Frankie is not your best friend. Stop saying she's your best friend. You keep enabling that in your brain. She's not your friend. She's talking so much crap about you and making your life so miserable. James and I agree this won't affect our friendship and agree we'll try to see each other over this Christmas, hence calling it a joint custody friendship. LOL, I wasn't sure how else to word it. Lizzie and me are speaking and she says that Frankie has recently said to her that I forced her to be bi. In school, me and James both came out and she followed suit a couple years later because she said she felt the same way. No judgment if this changed because, again, I'm not really fussed. Like, who are you? Do whatever you want. And she felt pressured into kissing me, which I will say on record, that was never true. If and when we kissed, she initiated, and she wanted me to be her first kiss. Okay? I just think Frankie doesn't like you. Just get away from her. I will admit, I reacted immaturely here, but I had been patient with how she'd spoken about me for too long. And I finally snapped, so I left our friend group chat. I posted on my TikTok something to the wording of, when you find out someone has accused you of forcing them to be bi, and they kiss you. I think it was to be the backstabber audio, but I can't remember. Frankie sees I've left the group chat. She then checks my TikTok, and she messages Lizzie, who is also sick of her crap at this point, by the way. I receive a long message from her saying goodbye, essentially, and that we apparently both know we're in the wrong. And she's just trying to do this to rile me up. I decide to hold fire and reply in the morning when I am sober, as I had been drinking with Lizzie when she told me this. I respond back essentially noting down everything I have written here, saying that I am not sorry and refuse to take equal joint responsibility for this crap show. And once again, I will go on record to say I really, really tried. At this point, she blocked me everywhere, so I couldn't send her a response. Yeah, no way you're getting the final word, B-word. Sorry, not sorry. So I logged into an old Instagram account, copy-pasted the message, said that I respected her not wanting to be involved with me ever again, but that she needed to read this. Why? Just stop talking to her.
I think he's just trying to get the last win, like the last leg up. Like, oh, you think so? No, I can do.
That's all it is. It's a petty argument between these two. That was August. Fast forward to now. I'm currently actually writing this on James's birthday, but have been thinking about it for the past week. Once again, I messaged James and asked if we wanted to meet for drinks. Initially, he sent a long message saying maybe if he's free. I told him there's no pressure if not. He then responded with a very short message saying that he's sorry, but it ain't gonna happen. So I was like, oh, okay, sick. No worries, LOL. 4 days ago, his B-roll was him at Frankie's house, drinking together. And this is what led me to my question. Would I be the a-hole for cutting off a friend of 11 years because our joint custody friendship isn't working? You can have your joint custody with us by going on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, searching OK Storytime, and listening to stories just like this one. Maybe better stories because OP doesn't understand what they're doing. Just cut it off. They're not your friends. I don't know what you think. Like you've been thinking, oh yeah, they talk behind my back. They hang out behind my back. Those aren't your friends. You should have been done with these people a long time ago, especially Frankie. You're being the a-hole right now.
You really are.
James has been caught in the crossfire, but he's equally not making much effort to try and still be my friend. Just stop! Oh my God, you're defending him. I can't help but feel that despite saying at my birthday he wouldn't pick sides, he has, in fact, chosen a side. This is okay, but I would rather he told me straight up than leave me guessing. I'm sorry if it's so long. I feel like I partially needed to vent the situation anonymously, as well as ask if I would be the a-hole for cutting his friendship off. Edit. Just wanted to add that throughout all of this, James has been on the sidelines, not really telling either of us to stop fighting. That's your edit to add? He's picked a side, girl.
Yeah.
OP, he's picked a side.
Yeah.
He's avoided you so many times, like, oh, I can't get drinks with you. And then you see on his story that he's getting drinks with Frankie.
Come on, dude. OP, I understand you want them back in your life, but you have to accept that these are the things this is what's just going to happen. And
I'm
just move on.
Thank you. Just let him go.
Yes.
I'm scared that Lizzie's going to join their friend group. And then you have no friends.
Yeah.
But in this story, OP, you kind of were the a-hole. They were a-holes, but all of you are a-holes.
Yep. Everyone. And
communicate. Okay.
Just let James be, okay? Stop bickering at him. Let him be.
And that's the end of that story.
My best friend portrays herself as a sweet Christian girl, but her actions are anything but. Sounds like she's really sour. So let me explain. I had known this girl for years, and she eventually became my BFF, but ever since then, she's shown me a whole different side to her. By the way, this comes from DizzyNet3837, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, for some context, she portrayed herself as a very understanding and sweet Christian girl with good morals and non-judgmental or controlling tendencies. She's 23 and married her friend from high school, and he's in the military. I'm not religious at all, but I am a witch. I'm not married, but I do have a partner of 8 years, and I am 26. My man is an assistant chef. Well, here's the first thing that completely contradicts how I first felt about her. She's come to my home a few times and has ridiculed my practice as evil. I originally shrugged it off because we all have different experiences. Well, she ended up throwing out all of my witchcraft books. She's also thrown out my puppets and spell jars. I tried to confront her about it, but all I got back was, it's evil and you need to go to my church to cleanse your darkness. At first I went with it, like, okay, fine, let's see the hype and maybe I can talk with her and see why she feels so defensive about my practices. The church was fine, a decent community, not my style, but decent, and she finally told me that she had dealt with a demon before. I'm pretty aware of demons and how they're very indifferent, like a cross or pentagram ain't saving anyone by itself. It takes a lot of work. But then she said that the same demon that latched onto her was latching onto me as well. So I get it, but it's not like I go to her home and throw away her belongings. I've dealt with very cultish religious people many times. So I try to confront her about it and she gets mad, saying, why are you defending the practices of the devil? And I get annoyed to the point that I just sit silently as she takes me home. Now, the second thing that really irks me a lot was when I had finally gotten a gig on a game show called Let's Make It. It was my first ever big time gig and I was excited. So I decided I'd invite her with me. We had planned this out a month beforehand and what we'd go dressed up as, since it's a game show that requires a costume. We agreed that she'd be a princess and I'd be a dark fairy. On the day of going there, she last minute changes her costume to some kind of 1950s girl. While I'm not annoyed at the costume because I figured I'd create an entire role for myself, like, oh, I kidnapped her and brought her to this time era, I was more mad at how she treated me the entire day and night there. So the first thing that happened was we were talking with other contestants and invitees, and I started to collect numbers because I'm trying to be an actress and a voice actress, and I was meeting all kinds of people. Directors, actors, voice actors, fashion designers, all kinds of people in the big stuff, and I really wanted to make as many connections as possible. Well, one guy who happened to be a scriptwriter was talking to us, and I got excited. So I asked for his number, and I got it. So she then turns to me, smiles, and goes, we'll talk about what you just did. And then nodded. I played this off because I'm collecting numbers like Pokemon, and she nods and smiles, and then turns back to him and continues speaking with him. Well, fast forward to the end of the show where we were all getting ready to go home. There's this random guy who is flirting with her on a very noticeable level, and I'm confused because she seems totally fine with it. I'm considering maybe she just doesn't know.
But she has a husband.
Perhaps.
She has a husband.
Perhaps.
No, she does.
Oh, she does.
She
oh,
does.
oh,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah, yeah,
I thought
yeah.
you were asking.
No. She
I was
does
like, I
have
can't
a
remember.
husband.
Yeah. So we go to this restaurant and he tries to buy us food and drinks. I thank him, but ultimately turn him down and pay myself. And she goes, she has a boyfriend, which I felt was weird, but hey, I'm not denying it. So I nod and smile. But when I bring up her partner, she immediately stares me down and goes, oh, you mean the dude who thought he was my boyfriend? What?
Yeah, and then is your husband.
Yeah.
He's not your boyfriend, but is your husband.
I laugh, going, hey, there was that weirdo. And she stares me down again. As I bring up her being married, she just smiles and looks down at her drink. Okay, weird. Fast forward a bit to after where he takes us to an arcade bar, and oh my gosh, I absolutely loved it. Things were fine up until we went to the karaoke bar. That's when everything fell apart. She and I got very wasted. She kept going up to sing several songs, and this is where the guy we were hanging out with started to touch and feel up on her, even kissing her and giving her a tongue. Wowza.
Why are we friends with this girl?
I don't know, man.
OP, this is all on you. Like not her behavior.
Well, yeah.
But like, why are we?
It's like,
what are
maybe-
any? Does she have any redeeming qualities?
Right. It's not seeming like it. I'm wasted, but I notice it. She sees me and then pulls me into the bathroom. She tells me that she doesn't like him like that. And I'm agreeing, like, that's very weird because she's married. So we go out and now I'm on guard duty, making sure that he's not touching her or doing anything like that. She just keeps singing multiple songs, even though by now the entire bar is extremely loud and you can't hear anyone up there. I step out a bit and try to call my boyfriend. I really just want to go home at this point. I don't want to be here. It's too loud. And I know my boyfriend, who doesn't drink, could get us home safely. We're way the heck out in LA, but my phone is dying a bit now and he's still at work down in Oceanside. Well, she comes out and gets very angry at me, saying that this is for me and that she was doing this for me. So I try to be nice because we're both wasted. I am not a talkative wasted despite being an honest one, whereas she's the opposite of me, very talkative and very erratic. Near the end of the night, the guy who is also wasted gets angry because she's being all over the bouncer. I'm again noticing this. So my friend and the dude go off somewhere to talk, right? I talk to the bouncer and let him know that she's married and that we're just wasted. We need to sober up. He's very understanding and agrees that we both need to sober up and eat something. Well, the guy that she talked to got mad and she just says, you're really going to get upset when you just met me 8 hours ago? So he storms off and we wait from 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. and we're still pretty wasted. But the bouncer invites us to go over to his friend's place. And we do have an update, but I need to process all of that. So many points.
Yeah.
Because, okay, first of all, you know, kissing this random guy when she's married.
When you're married.
But then the fact that she's like saying like, oh no, but I don't like him like that. Like I'll kiss him and I'll let him like slip tongue, but
yeah, it's not cheating because I don't like.
I just don't like him like that, so it's okay. It's fine. Like that's a crazy thing to say at that like that situation.
Why are we friends with this girl?
Yeah, but then also just now with her saying like, oh, like you can't even get mad. You just met me 8 hours ago.
8 hours is actually kind of a long time.
That is so long to just be out though. She met him this night.
Yeah.
And they've been out for 8 hours.
Yeah, man, that's a long time.
Oh my gosh. Crazy.
Go home, OP, and
Go home.
stop being
She's
friends with
trying.
her.
But we do have an update. I'm really hoping that they didn't go over to that
Me
friend's
too.
place. I immediately am getting concerned vibes off of this entire thing and try to convince my friend that we both wait in her car before my boyfriend can come pick us up. She gets very mad at this and throws the, I'm doing this for you. And at that point, I just go with it while trying to contact my boyfriend on an almost phone because I want to go home, not to some after party at some stranger's home. So she takes my phone, then drags me with her and all of these people I've never met before into this giant van. I'm already having a panic attack, but we get there and things are fine. They make food. They set up a karaoke machine, which my friend immediately takes over and sings several more songs. I'm just sitting here completely dissociated with reality. Everything feels as though it's a dream. I don't sleep at all. I'm paranoid. My boyfriend manages to come down there and she gets so mad at me, saying things like, I did this for you. You never go out. You never socialize. And I told you we'll go home when I say we will. She doesn't give me my phone back and then calls him on her phone saying that I'm acting stupid and just being annoying. Mind you, I've said absolutely nothing. I'm being as quiet as possible. He hangs up with her and goes back home. And then she finally gives me my phone back.
Goes back home?
From LA to Oceanside. Oh my gosh.
Boyfriend's dumb. Your
Dude.
boyfriend's stupid.
Yeah. This is everyone
of
is
the story
making
is
unsafe decisions.
stupid.
Then she goes outside to make out with the bouncer, and I'm just trying to make sure that I don't pass out because anything can happen at this point. So finally, fast forward a few hours, and I'm making sure not to sleep in the car as we drive back home. We finally get home. I just go inside and sleep. But for the next 3 days, I'm completely disconnected from reality. It wasn't until the 4th day that I finally felt like, okay, I'm home. This is real. Everything that happened is real. This isn't a dream. So fast forward a month later, and I think it's time to finally try a new hairstyle. I'm not one to do this, by the way, but I really wanted to give curly hair a try. I'm excited, but I end up messaging that same friend to come down and help me with it. Well, she gets here, and I'm excited. I had my hair cleaned and wet and got all the new products out. She sits on my bed and immediately wants to go on my social media, including my Instagram, which I've not been on for years. She just goes through my chats, and I'm asking her questions, and she brushes me off and just goes through all my chats instead. What? Why is this happening? Why are we letting this happen?
Here. Why is
Going
she
through your
here?
Instagram? My excitement is kind of dying out. My hair is drying out. So I finally get annoyed and tell her that it's time to do my hair. She finally puts my phone down, helps me out, and I'm excited because, oh my gosh, this is my first time. But after she's done helping me, she just gets up and leaves. Doesn't even want to chat with me anymore. So I sleep with it in, and the next day I take it out once my hair was fully dried. I'm okay with this. It looks all right, and I send her a picture. She gets very angry with me and says I'm supposed to leave curlers in for 3 days. I don't know anything about hair, but people on YouTube seem to say that you can do a 3-hour all the way to a 24-hour with curlers. 3 days is
How would you
crazy.
even leave them in for 3 days?
Yeah, what curlers do you need to do that with? Like,
insane.
even like a perm is like, you don't need to do that,
3
man.
days.
So I start to feel bad because it looked great to me, but evidently my friend is angry with it.
Not your friend.
Not
She's
at
not
all.
your friend.
When she gets off work, she decides to come to my home and do my hair again. She sprays the ever-living heck out of my hair with hairspray. I'm visibly choking and coughing, and she says beauty is pain and women need to go through it to look great for their men. My boyfriend wasn't here, but when I told him when he got home, he got very angry. Well, now I'm having breathing issues, and it's been going on for about 2 weeks now. I have chemical burns inside my throat, according to my doctor and dentist. Oh my gosh, because of the hairspray. This is so insane. So insane. So I cannot get any acting gigs, voice or physical acting. I'm now on a temporary inhaler. So now let's fast forward to finally just last week when we go to a sunset market. Still with this friend.
What?
Still with this.
This is ridiculous.
With this friend.
I don't feel bad for you anymore. I have like no
This is
sympathy for you.
crazy.
I'm
Guys,
sorry. I'm sorry.
You gotta drop the people that are getting you into random vans of strangers and giving you chemical burns inside your throat.
Like, genuinely, I don't think that you can complain about a person or a friend and how they're treating you if you don't talk to them and also don't set any boundaries and also just continue to be their friend and do nothing.
Yeah, this is a
Like,
prime
why are you
time.
complaining about them if you're not doing anything?
It's like a nice little place that people set up shops for food or jewelry or clothes, you know, that kind of thing. I kind of don't want to go, but she begs me to come with her. And so I do. I can't breathe, can't do too much exercise, let alone walk a certain distance. But I guess fine. I'll try to be there for my friend, girl. She demands my boyfriend to come with us, and he eventually does, but he hits social anxiety bad in crowded spots. Well, the entire time I'm choking, coughing, struggling to breathe, scratching my throat because she's moving so fast and demanding I catch up to her. She then tells me to shut up and stop acting and that I'm creating problems out of nothing. Does she know that this is her fault? Does she
Probably
know that
not.
this is from all the,
I bet
the
OP never
cans
told her.
of hairspray?
Yeah, I bet OP never said anything.
I wouldn't be surprised if OP never said anything. She then mocks and makes fun of me and says that I went and smoked substances with homeless guys as we passed them.
My boyfriend thinks that this is just banter and he laughs as she does this, but I'm getting annoyed, very upset, and decide I'm going home. And they can have a nice day because I cannot breathe and she's coming off as hella rude. So she gets mad and takes off somewhere. And as I get home with my boyfriend, I try to explain that this wasn't normal banter, that actually felt like real digs and that she was being rude. She whips by us and gives my boyfriend food and says that I'm just trying to ruin their night like I ruined her night when we went to the party. My boyfriend doesn't take the food and instead helps me go inside the home and we close the door. He apologizes because he works with her and they banter in the back of the kitchen. He didn't think it was that bad. So we decided to officially cut her off. There we go.
Oh, finally.
Finally.
It only took forever.
Forever. And we are not going to hang out with her or talk to her much. He encourages me to get back into my practice. I've honestly felt happy with this decision. I got to heal a bit better this week, and by next week, I should be off the inhaler. I will have to stick to a liquid diet and nothing spicy or hot, but we got some good news from my doctor and dentist that it's healing and clearing up a lot. Within another 2 weeks, I'll be able to heal. This friend has sent me some messages asking if I'll go to church with her or if I'd like to go to a gathering. I haven't read any of them. I do feel bad though because I don't know a lot about friends, but I truly don't feel as though she was ever there for me as a friend. You are absolutely right about that. She wasn't.
But you know who is there for you?
Us! With more episodes and stories just like this one on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. Just search OK Storytime.
Do it. We'll be there for you. Unlike this girl, please continue to keep her out of your life.
Yes.
She sucks.
So much
She's
better.
the worst.
Yeah.
I hate her.
She literally
she
injured you.
Yeah, she burned your throat.
Chemically burned you and pulled you into a van.
Kind of kidnapped you.
Van.
My advice for you is to be aware of the people that you let into your life.
Yeah.
And how they treat you.
Yeah.
Because this is not okay.
Not okay. But again, as someone who grew up friendless, maybe I'm being the wiener wad to her. I don't know if I should tell her I don't want to hang out with her anymore or if I should just not respond or say anything. It was so nice to feel like I had a friend, but she is not the way that she claimed that she was and has been completely opposite. So I feel unsure if this is the right choice. And that's the end of that story, but we are here to assure you it is the right choice.
Never talk to her again. My friend keeps mistreating my 2-year-old. I'm ready to cut her off.
Yeah, I mean, I'd cut the 2-year-old off as well. Like, I'm sick of it.
She's a pain in the butt. Throwaway because my friend has my main account. I met my friend Monica online when both of our children were about a year old, and we quickly became close friends. Our kids are exactly the same age, and we live not far from each other, so it was perfect. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Baby Panic, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, she helped me out by watching my daughter some days of the week while I worked, as she was a stay-at-home mom and wanted her son to have friends and make a little extra money, so I got discount childcare, and it was a win-win. We had a joint birthday party this year from the kids, and it was great. She also watches our other friends' kids sometimes, and they're starting to have the cutest little friend group. I know that she loves all of the kids and would never do anything to harm them at all. Ever since I met Monica, she struggled in her relationship and with her mental health. I know this is not her fault, but I think it is starting to impact her ability to watch my child. And some things have happened and been said that I have no idea what to do about. I don't want to take my daughter somewhere else and have her resent me, but I also don't want to ruin my daughter's or my friendships based on something I may be overreacting about. Sorry, I know I'm jumping ahead, but here's the story. Monica's son, Austin, was born with some deficiencies. He's not up to par in his speaking specifically, and they think he might be on the spectrum. However, Austin is so advanced in his motor development. He was walking and climbing before he was 1, whereas my daughter is the exact opposite. She talks on the level of a 3.5-year-old. She just turned 2, but she just started really being able to run and jump. Both of these are fine. I am a firm believer that babies develop at their own rate. If they need outside help, that's fine, and there's no shame in that, but I really try not to compare one baby to another, which is good. I think she's the same way as well, but I know it can be hard when you are with them both so often. I mention this because I'm not sure if her comments are from jealousy or what, but recently I've noticed little passive-aggressive comments made about my daughter to me that rub me the wrong way. Monica is on the spectrum and I am not, so I'm not sure if maybe she was trying to joke and it just came out wrong, or if she actually just secretly not like my daughter. The other day, my daughter Sarah was at Monica's house playing with Austin's toys and was playing with the mouse toy. toy. Austin walked up and snatched it from her. We have really been working on my daughter using her words when she's upset and not just reacting and being mean. So I was super happy and proud when my daughter very calmly said, "Have that back," asking to have the toy back. Have that back.
Maybe have that back.
Have that back.
Have that back.
Have that back.
Yes, exactly.
Just like that.
It was Sophia.
Monica said, "No, that's Austin's." I thought that was a little weird because at this age, it is really important to teach about sharing and taking turns, but I thought maybe it was a special toy or something and did not say anything. Monica then turned to me and said, "I love Sarah and everything, but she's really entitled to Austin's toys," and then just kind of chuckled. This rubbed me the wrong way, but did not make me really mad until after I had thought about it for a while when I was home later that day. It is my opinion that if you run a little daycare like this, then the toys are for all the kids. Whenever we watch Austin for her, we hide all of Sarah's special toys she's really possessive of and let Austin play with anything as long as one child is not taking toys from the other and they're sharing well. It's fine. So this comment was very out of left field for me. I did not say anything because at the end of the day, she's right. It is Austin's toy. It just got me thinking that if she's like this and talking bad about my daughter while I'm there, what is she saying when I'm not around?
She's a 2-year-old, dude.
Yeah, she's like,
what do we do? Her sense of entitlement is kind of concerning to
Yeah.
me. It's like, she's 2.
I'm going to cancel her.
And she literally asked for it back.
That's the thing. Like, that wasn't even entitlement. It was just saying, "Hey, have that back.
Have that back. Hi, I want
Have that back."
I'm 2.
Another thing is that she and Austin never leave the house except to go to Starbucks or Target, so they are in a little bubble and do not have super strong immune systems. Sarah goes to pre-K most days and went to daycare before I met Monica, so she has had all the baby sicknesses and was able to build up more of an immunity to them. The preschool does all it can to prevent illness, checking temp every day, sanitizing toys every day, but there's only so much you can do with a bunch of little kids. And also just like sometimes, I mean, I don't know about their daycare, but with a lot of daycares, and also summer camps, which is where I'm pulling this information from.
Okay.
Parents just send their kids in sick because they're like, "I'm working, so my kid's going to school."
Yeah, they're like, well, it's the kid's going.
Yeah, and they
You
have
can
like
take care of
they
them.
have like a fever, and you're like, "You can't have them here," and they just keep sending them anyway. Because of this, Sarah has caught a cold. Monica then went on to say it was all Sarah's fault. They've been sick since August and missed a lot of work. Maybe this is the case. I don't know, but whenever Sarah's sick, I tell her to let me know if I need to come and get her in order to prevent them from being sick. So I feel like if this was the case, why did she never text me until after they got sick each time? The most recent thing that has made me look back on everything and really rethink stuff happened about 2 to 3 weeks ago, and I still have no clue what to do. Monica and her husband have always had on and off relationship issues, but this time it got really bad. They were driving back from somewhere with the kids in the back seat and had a huge fight. Her husband was driving and he apparently had really bad anger problems. According to her, he started yelling at Monica and driving really scary, speeding up, slamming on brakes with the kids in the car.
Dude,
with Sarah in the car?
Jail.
No.
Send you to jail.
I'm sorry, if I had my child in someone else's car and found out that they were driving recklessly and also screaming in front of my child, I'd be like, "You're never being around my child again."
Yeah, 100%.
Then when they got home, he yelled at Monica more and then just stormed out of the house and drove away. This was right before I came to pick up Sarah, maybe 3 to 5 minutes before. When I got there, Sarah was perfectly happy, but when I went to put her in the car, she started screaming like crazy. Yeah, I mean, she's probably freaking traumatized from all that reckless driving that she was just experiencing.
If you traumatize my kid, I traumatize you.
Yeah, you watch out.
So the warning is out there.
Yeah. We went back inside, but she could not stop freaking out. She was hyperventilating, crying hysterically. She normally does not cry much. And if she's upset, she asks for a hug and then says she's all better. But this does not happen this time. Oh my God. This seems like the sweetest little child. And I'm so angry at Monica. I would literally never let my child around Monica again.
No, neither of them.
Neither of them. Sarah kept saying she wanted to go. But whenever I tried to put her in the car to leave, she freaked out again. She's fine now and has been asking about them and going to their house. So I'm very confused about it. I mean, also she's 2, so she doesn't probably quite understand why she's having these emotions.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
She's just like, that's weird.
She's like,
I want to
can't go.
leave, but when I get in the car,
I don't.
I'm really upset.
She's like, I don't understand why this happens. I do not know what is best for her. All I know is this cannot happen again, and I have told them this. Since then, I've been messaging our other friends who sometimes have her kids there and have gotten even more information. This is where I have to change some details and leave a lot out on the off chance Monica sees this post, because I promised not to tell her anything until this friend, let's call her Rachel, friends is on the TV at work, LOL, can find alternate care for her kids. The gist of what Rachel told me is that Monica has reached out to another friend about her mental health and said some really concerning things. And it's clear she needs some help. According to what Rachel heard from this other friend, a lot of the issues are stemming from the stress of watching the kids, which is not something you want to hear about the girl who's freaking running a daycare.
Get him out. She's going to pull a Shining on the kids. Get him out of there.
Yeah. Both Rachel and I have agreed it would be wise to find alternate childcare and are planning on talking to Monica about it. Good. I know that she cannot watch Sarah long term anymore. The thing is, I do not know if I can do this friendship anymore. She has insulted my daughter to my face. She has lied to me. She has put my child at risk, and she is taking advantage of both my and Rachel's kindness. I know all of this is her mental health and not her fault. I am trying to be there for her, but I have given her resources for mental health clinics in her geographic area and price range. I have offered for her to go to meetings with me for the partners of those dealing with regular using. I have tried to offer her so many resources, but she always declines. There's only so much I can do if she does not want to help herself. And it is getting to the point where it's impacting my mental health and I need to take care of myself. I don't want to cut her off completely and I don't know what to do. If anyone has been through anything similar, please let me know and offer advice. I know this post probably does not make sense, but I do feel better after getting it off my chest. And there is an update, but do you have any thoughts before we get into it? Because I have some.
Sometimes you are unable to provide the kind of care that somebody needs.
Yes. Absolutely.
And this feels like one of those situations. And
yeah.
you can take a step back, especially for the safety of your actual child, and be like, hey, we can't continue this. And and you can be like, I just want you to be more well, get better. Not, make it impersonal, not like you need to fix, but it's like, I just care about you and I can't be around you if you're just going to continually go downhill and you won't listen to any advice.
Yeah, I think what you could do is first make sure that your daughter is not in Monica's care. Make sure that you find alternate care and get her to safety. And then I think you can have that conversation with Monica and say, hey, I've noticed that you seem to be really stressed and kind of unable to handle the daycare. Can we get you some sort of help? Is there anything that can lighten this load? I don't think right now I feel comfortable sending my daughter over. But that doesn't mean that I want to cut you out of my life completely.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. Honestly, I'm thinking of finding out about because that's one of my pet peeves, the aggressive driving or reckless driving.
You can't bring your
because
daughter
you're
out.
emotional.
Yeah.
Is I
Ridiculous.
will never think of you the same way again.
No, especially with children. It's
kids in the car.
Already
It's
terrible to reckless drive yourself because you are in charge of a very, very dangerous vehicle or very dangerous machine that if you are driving recklessly, you could hurt anyone else around you. But to also have kids in the car, one of which is not even yours.
Yeah. No, I'm teeing up on that guy
I'd be like, how dare you?
Extremely.
How dare you?
I'm laying into that guy for sure.
Yeah.
Which is not advice I typically ever give.
But I mean,
it's
if my child was in
you
the car,
endangered the life of my child over your emotions.
Yeah. It's
let's go to a therapist instead of endangering the children.
But there is an update, so let's see what OP does. Hello, everyone. This is just a small update. If you guys remember me, I'm the one whose friend drove recklessly while my daughter was in their care. Yesterday, I went to a trunk or treat and found a preschool for the days when I would need Monica to watch my daughter. I am planning on calling them and filling out an application later today. I spoke to the director and she was super nice, so I'm really excited about this. The only thing is the age. My daughter would have to be 2 by a certain day, and she is 3 days behind that, but we think that since they still do not have a full class, they'll probably allow her to join. Last night, I texted Monica and let her know that I was looking for alternate care for Sarah because watching the kids seemed to be stressing her out. That's exactly what I said. I did not tell her what her other friend told us because I did not want to violate trust, but Monica was understanding. I think. She started off really understanding, but then went on to say she was trying really hard to not take it personally. I mean, take it a little personally and make changes.
You should take it personally.
You should be taking it personally. It's about, exactly. Make changes in your life.
See, it's people mix that up where they're like, it's
oh, I don't,
it's not about me.
Yeah, it is.
But it's like sometimes it's about
Sometimes
you.
it's about you.
When it's about your behavior or your decisions, like it is about you.
Yeah.
And you should take it personally.
I found out via Twitter that she was having a rough week after I told her about the alternate care. So I think it was bad timing on my part, or maybe she's manipulating me. I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, it doesn't, honestly, I don't really care if she's having a rough week. Your daughter was in danger.
This is true. Also, I think this is in the middle of the pandemic. Which
Yeah.
might lend to a even less stable platform for her, mental health to stand on.
Yeah.
Like, because it was a lot for a lot of people to deal with.
And also how the relationship would be between Monica and her husband.
Yeah, degenerating because they're just constantly around each other.
Yeah.
And I see some people that are like, take the kids away from her, and like, I don't know if you get CPS involved yet, because it's like, again, it's like it's almost like a coin flip to me. It's like, okay, so you call CPS, she's unstable, she's having a mental breakdown. Like now the dad gets the kids, but the dad's got anger issues. The dad was like, driving the car like a maniac. So it's like, do you want the kids with the dad?
I think I would keep an eye on it, and if you see something, then CPS. But there is a little tiny update 2 hours later. She got into the preschool. Nice. I was worried because when doing the registration application, it said there was a wait list, but they called and said she's in and can start ASAP. I chose to start next week. They are closed the 5th for the election. Everyone, please remember to vote. So she officially starts the 7th. I paid the tuition just now and everything. They also said they do something they're called specials, where every day they do focused learning in different rotating subjects like music, art, Spanish, etc. I am so excited for her. She is going to love it. And there is a second update. So let's jump.
With a weird title.
Yeah, with a weird, ominous title. Let's jump into it. Okay. My problem may be solved, and I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Okay, my bet
what's your
is that some external organization did become involved.
Yeah.
But now she's like, I don't even know if that was the right. I don't know if this is a net positive.
Well, I think maybe another parent, like OP was saying, that like her other friend.
Oh, shoot.
I think maybe another parent got involved.
Oh, the word's getting out.
This is kind of an update to my previous post, so if you want some context, they are on my page. Sarah started her new preschool this month and absolutely loves it. She already has lots of friends and is excited to go, so that's good. We have seen Monica, her husband, and Austin a little since not having them watch Sarah anymore, but not like before. Monica admitted that she has really been neglecting her mental health, and I'm trying to give her space to do that, but I'm not sure she is. Every time I talk to her, she says something bad is happening or that she's depressed. I feel awful, but there's not really anything I can do, and I have my own problems to deal with. I am working with my therapist to be less of a people pleaser, and one thing she pointed out is I go out of my way to solve other problems and not my own. So I'm trying really hard not to do that. A little bit of background is needed for this story. Monica and her husband are not amazing with money. They have enough to survive, barely, but as soon as they get money, it's spent. They have more toys for Austin than I can count, and they always have more coming in. Because of money issues, Monica and her husband live with her dad. There are a lot of issues in that relationship, and her dad is constantly threatening to punt her out over issues, but never follows through. I honestly feel so terrible. I could not imagine having a parent like that who only has conditional love to give. Monica and her husband do not pay rent. They do pay utilities, though, for the house. Well, this time, Monica's dad actually followed through and signed a new lease for a house. This means Monica has to move out by a certain time because her dad will no longer be renting the house they're currently in. I saw her post on Blue Sky, the new Twitter for those boycotting Elon, asking about part-time jobs and places for rent. So I messaged her asking what is up. She explained how her dad signed a new lease and they have to be out, but have no savings and cannot afford to live anywhere. I truly feel bad, but there's nothing I can do to help, so all I could offer was a listening ear. She explained how she has friends on the other side of the country, 2,030 miles or 3,268 kilometers away, and may move there. I'm not sure how to feel. I don't know if it is even going to happen. Even though all the stuff in my other posts happened, I cannot help but feel sad. I don't know if I need advice or what. I just wanted to get all of my feelings out, so here I am. There's a lot more going on as well that I may get into if anyone wants, with Austin not adjusting to not having Sarah there and some manipulation and possible ghosting. I am just very confused about how to feel right now. Should I be happy or relieved or sad or all of the above? And there is a third update, but what do you think? What are you thinking?
I would be I don't know, probably all of that.
Yeah,
I think
it's
it's
all very
okay to not
valid.
just be one thing about this.
Absolutely, she was your
You know?
friend.
There's a lot going on.
I think she was your friend. I think that she put your daughter in an unsafe position. I think that she was helping you out in a time, where you needed it. So, she wasn't just one thing. It wasn't black and white.
Exactly. Nothing
and she
is
is
black
yeah,
and
nothing.
white. Guys.
She's in a tricky,
Well,
precarious situation with not a lot of money or funding or
Right.
support and stuff.
that is
and it's fair for you to
consideration.
Yeah, it's fair for you to feel bad while also not being able to help.
Yeah.
But there is a third update. Buckle up. I got some tea for you. We have some selective mutism, cars being repossessed, attempted identity theft, you name it. Dang.
Selective mutism.
Wow.
My favorite.
Oh, that was funny.
I see. I was gonna do the joke,
Yeah,
but
but then I
realized
wouldn't have gotten
it didn't
there.
have a punchline.
My previous post can be seen on my account for context. This is a throwaway, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I was not going to update, but got 2 messages and a comment. First, the relevant info. My daughter loves her new preschool. She comes home every Tuesday and Thursday talking about how much she likes it and her new friends. They post daily photos and send home art projects all the time. It's just what I wanted. The only problem is that since starting, she does not talk at school anymore. She used to talk all the time at her other school and just stopped. She never talks at the new school. I know she's learning stuff because she comes home and talks about it. For example, they had a Christmas program and she still will not stop singing Jingle Bells because they learned it in school. She always says she loves her friends. I have no clue why she just stopped talking. Interesting. I mean, I don't know either.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't tell you. I think maybe that's something that you work with a school or maybe like a doctor or a therapist on. But also sometimes, yeah, I think that the fact that she's coming home and is still very excited about school is a good sign. But yeah, definitely look into. It might be nothing, but always I think best to check in.
Indeed.
Second, the friend drama. So it looks like the move will not be happening, at least for now. My friend currently lives with her mom, and her mom has told her to move out by the end of 2024. Then I heard it got pushed back to the end of January. And now she tells me that it is indefinitely put off due to finances and credit checks. I totally understand having financial issues, but I honestly feel really bad for my friend having to live with her mom even longer. Her mom is a really big liar about a lot of things and has some manipulative and self-absorbed person tendencies. For example, she does not pay her rent or car payments, and her car has been repossessed multiple times, and then yells at my friend for not being responsible with money enough to find a place to live away from her. She lied to everyone saying her car was in the shop. I even gave her rides to work every day for a week, thinking her car just kept breaking. Nope, it was repossessed. My friend also got a letter in the mail saying she was denied a credit card she never applied for. With some investigative digging, she found out her mom was the one who applied for it. I, thinking the move was still happening at the end of the month at this point, urged her to report it as identity theft before it could happen again and be successful. She declined, saying that they cannot get approved anywhere and are stuck living with her. Honestly, hearing all that my friend is having to go through, it makes me understand her and all the issues I was having with some things better. I am glad my daughter is somewhere different in terms of her care, but I have decided not to cut this friend off because I really think she needs some supportive people in her life. It is hard to thrive if you are in an environment that is constantly beating you down. But you'd thrive by listening to more episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search a Poke Storytime, and you'll thrive. But do you have any final thoughts?
You've navigated a very difficult situation, I feel like, as best as you probably could.
I agree. And also you still have a lot of sympathy and, stuff for your friend, which is not, you didn't have to, not everyone would, especially after the way that she treated you and treated your kid.
Yeah. But I can only imagine I get pretty emotional about things sometimes. Not often. When I get set off pretty big. And if this was my kid, I'd probably be set off enormously.
In a big way.
So good job.
Seems like you're teaching you and your daughter great emotional regulation. But there's a little bit more. I really shortened the drama with her and her mom, but if you want any more, please let me know and I may post. I work with her mom and have known her for over 2 years now, and it is very complex. I only try to post stuff I have verified is the truth after hearing both of their stories, but I have heard so much stuff, it is crazy, and I need to tell someone or I might go insane. And that is the end of that story.
Sheesh. Well, I'm glad you told us.
Yeah, me too.
Sometimes
Man, oh
you
man.
need to be told.
And sometimes you just got to get your daughter out of a situation and then you can look after the person who's kind of going off the rails a little bit.
Yeah. Your family comes
first.
before your friend in that context for sure.
Yeah.
My boyfriend's friend lied about having an intimate past with me. It ruined our relationship.
Your boyfriend's friend did a fib?
He probably misses your boyfriend. My boyfriend and I have been dating for about 10 weeks now. When he officially asked me to be his girlfriend, we mutually agreed to take things slow. Now, after almost 3 months, we decided it was time to meet each other's closest friends. By the way, this comes from Invisible Bid 95, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I know he has told his guy friends about me before, but it was always very vague. They just knew he was seeing someone. On Monday, my boyfriend and I were hanging out when I noticed he was being distant. For example, when I snuggled up next to him, he wouldn't hug me or show any affection like he usually does. I thought he was just having a bad day, so I initiated some spicy sleep thinking it would lighten his mood. After that, I asked him if he was hungry and if he wanted to order some food, to which he shrugged and said, "Don't know, I don't really care." At that moment, I kind of snapped at him and told him he should just tell me if he wanted to leave instead of treating me like this. He was silent for about 20 seconds, and then he asked me if I knew one of his guy friends. Let's just call him Alex. I told my boyfriend that I knew of him from when we talked about his friends, but I never actually met him before. He asked me if I was sure, and I said, yes, 100%, because I was absolutely certain I've never met this guy before in my life. My boyfriend was silent again, then looked at me and said fine, before starting to put his shoes on and jacket. I asked him what's wrong, where he was going. He said, I would have been fine with you hooking up with one of my friends before, but the lying is something I'm not willing to put up with. I'll go for a walk, and I want you to be gone when I'm back, before slamming the door in my face. I literally stood there in shock, questioning if this was some kind of sick prank. After about 3 minutes, when I realized he was actually gone, I called my best friend and told her what had just happened. I was so confused, I couldn't even cry. I was just in shock. My best friend told me it was probably best to give him space and time, so I eventually packed my stuff and left. She picked me up at his place, and we drove straight to her since she didn't want me to sleep alone that night. I texted him, I just want you to know that I have no idea what you were talking about earlier. I'm not lying, and I do not know Alex. I'm very confused right now, but I want to give you the time and space you need. Please call me when you are ready to talk. I don't want to lose you over something like this. I love you. I turned off my phone so I wouldn't stare at it every 2 minutes, hoping he would reply. Obviously, I couldn't sleep that night, so around 3 a.m., I turned my phone back on and saw a lengthy text from him. He mainly stated how disappointed he was and how much I had hurt him. He told me he wanted to talk the next day at his house. Okay, my thoughts real quick. Are you going to believe Keon or a girl you've been seeing for about 3 months?
I'm going to believe Keon.
Oh man, I've been through this.
I'm going to believe Keon.
So,
That's-
yeah, always believe
But
me.
Keon's not going to lie to me either.
No.
Yeah. But Keon, this is evil Keon. That's what I'm saying. If he sends you that lengthy text saying how, disappointed he is, if I was her in this situation, I would take a step back, be like, all right, believe your friends. This is just who I am. I think we should call it quits.
All right, she's hooked up with your friend, or she's hooked up with another guy who you don't know. What's the difference?
Yeah.
There's no difference. So why does it even matter in the first place?
At around 4 p.m., my best friend drove me back to his house and wanted to wait in the car for me. My boyfriend was already waiting for me, and I wanted to hug him, but he asked me not to touch him. I broke down crying in that moment. I couldn't get a word out. He tried to calm me down and eventually started talking. He told me that he had been hanging out with 5 of his guy friends when he casually mentioned that we were official now and that he wants me to join them on the next time the other guys brought their girlfriends. They congratulated him, and some of them asked questions like how old I was, where we met, etc. Alex then asked my boyfriend to show him a picture of me, which he did. That's when Mo, one of the other guys, looked at Alex, and Alex just asked my boyfriend if he was joking. My boyfriend asked why he would be joking, and Alex basically told him that he and I used to hook up occasionally for 5 months, 2 years ago. Mo immediately accused my boyfriend of breaking bro code, saying there was no way he didn't know. The other guys joined in, saying it wasn't breaking bro code because Alex just banged me and it was nothing serious. My boyfriend was mortified and told him he never knew Alex had been with me and that I never told him. Even though I had seen Alex before in pictures my boyfriend had shown me in snaps Alex sends him. My boyfriend asked Alex if he didn't recognize me earlier from the things he had told the guys about me or from what he posted candid pictures of me, like me walking in front of him. Alex said no, claiming I had it changed a lot, which is true. I lost about 50 pounds and I wear my hair differently now. Then my boyfriend said Alex knew oddly specific things about my body, like tattoos that aren't visible unless I'm in underwear, scars, At this point, I was freaking out because I honestly had no idea how Alex knows about these details about me.
That is concerning.
Wait, what?
OP's sure they didn't forget about Alex, and Alex claims that they didn't recognize OP,
Okay.
but knows secrets. Is there someone else that hooked up with OP that knows Alex?
My boyfriend said it hurt him to find out this way, but he would have gotten past it because he understands me feeling uncomfortable about telling him that I had a history with one of his friends. However, he couldn't forgive me lying straight to his face. I know my boyfriend has some trauma regarding lies and dishonesty, which is why I would never lie to him. I told him that exactly, but he didn't believe me, and I can't blame him. Everything Alex said sounds real. While I'm desperately trying to win my boyfriend back, I'm also freaking out about the fact that Alex somehow knows what I look like unclothed. My boyfriend told me he doesn't know if he can move on from this. I asked him if he wanted a break. He just said, I don't know. I apologized, and now looking back, I realized that probably made him think I was admitting to it. I left his place and broke down crying in my best friend's car again. It's been 2 days, and he hasn't said anything. This uncertainty is unaliving me, and I honestly don't know what to do right now. How do I fix this relationship?
I think you cut your losses, dude. Yeah. That is a trash way to respond to that.
Mm-hmm.
To make it like a test. It becomes a conversation of like, well, Alex told me that y'all did hook up, so it's like, why do you feel like you can't tell me that? It's not, oh, you failed the test, slam door in face. Don't let me see you here when I get back from my walk. It's like, that's not how you have a conversation about this.
Someone said, must have stalked your social media. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. In today's age, like, I would kind of do the same thing. If someone's like, oh, I'm dating this girl, I'm like, is it serious? Yeah, let me check her out. And like, see like their profile, and like, they have to have like an internet footprint. And if they don't, that's even a bigger red flag.
Ew. This is weird. I do not sleep with my ex-boyfriend's friend. I'm not lying. I know everyone I've ever slept with, and he's not one of them. In the days after my initial post, when my ex went radio silent, I had all the time in the world to reflect on this relationship. I started to realize that there were only two options. Either my ex was lying to me, or Alex was lying to him. I stopped reaching out to my ex, and I guess I made him suspicious. 3 days after my post, my ex reached out to me through text, asking if we could talk. At this point, I wasn't sad, but mad. I texted him a message basically saying that I am not insane. I know what I did and what I didn't do, and that either Alex is ruining our relationship or he, my ex, is lying to me. I told him I was done being framed as a bad person when I've done nothing wrong. I also told him at this point there was no going back for me, especially as I realized I was starting to build resentment towards him for sleeping with me right before everything blew up. I'd rather wrap this breakup up as fast as possible. He read this message and was typing for like 20 minutes before calling me. He was crying and asked if we could meet up. I agreed, but only under one circumstance, that he brings all my stuff because I was not playing games anymore. I'm currently staying at my parents' house, so he drove here, still crying when he arrived. Honestly, I just wanted him to drop off my stuff and leave because I was scared I was going to cave in eventually. He asked me if he could come inside so he could explain himself.
No, hey, explain yourself out here, dude. Trying time to explain. Oh, now we want to talk? We want to have conversations now? We're not at somebody's little crying a weepy boy?
I asked what there was to explain, but he insisted I deserved the truth before we broke up completely, so I let him in and we sat down to talk in my room. He told me that Alex did say he slept with me, and that I'm not wifey material and my ex should break up with me. Alex told my ex to just ghost me because he didn't need to justify himself and that I didn't deserve closure. My ex, however, wanted me to admit sleeping with Alex, so he came up with this plan to test me. He lied about Alex knowing about my scars or tattoos.
Wow, somehow even dumber. Let me give you a test you can't pass. I'm going to give you a test that's designed to fail. This is the Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was lying. Bro, when you're in a relationship, you have to protect your partner, and that is one of your main prerogative goals. And the fact that you were exposing her and feeling like she is unsafe, dude, you're going on my list, man. You were going on my list, and there's like a few people on it. But you're definitely on it, man. And this fires me up, dude. Oh my gosh. Dang.
And then to have that response too, where she's like, no. And how does he know that? You go, you're a liar. Actually, sir, I hope you took a walk to a mirror and
Holy
looked at
cow.
it and realized that that was the liar.
Okay, so he lied about Alex knowing about my scars or tattoos to see how I would react and get a definite answer. He said my reaction to telling me felt like I was lying and that Alex was telling the truth. My ex told his friends about breaking up with me, and that's when Alex started freaking out at him for telling me that he had claimed we slept together. They argued back and forth until my ex finally asked him if he was lying. Alex said he wasn't lying, but he just doesn't want his business out there like that. And that he swore to me he would never tell anyone about sleeping with me. At this point, I interrupted my ex and asked him if he seriously believed that. He said no, and that's when he realized Alex was lying to him. My ex said he drove to Alex's place to talk things out in person, but Alex's roommates wouldn't let him in since he was too upset. So he drove to one of his other guy friends who was also there when Alex made the claim. Okay, dude, this friend group is so pathetic.
You should have known that this guy was not out for your best interest when you were like, yeah, I told my girlfriend that y'all slept together. And then he goes, why would you tell her that? Like, that would not be the response. The response would be like, yo, like, did you get rid of the girl who's lying to you? Like, if that's your real bro. If your real bro is your real bro and he really thinks this girl's lying to you, he's going to be like, let's go. Did she admit it? Like, that's all. He's not going to go,
and
what? Like,
in the fact that you showed up at Alex's place, that this guy showed up at Alex's place, and his roommates wouldn't even let you see Alex because he was too upset.
yeah, that's also, these are children.
Without going into much more detail, my ex and his friends had a long talk. The friends told him that Alex had always talked crap about my ex for dating me. For context, I'm black, and my ex and his friends, except one, are white. Alex would make jokes or share memes about black witches and how no white dude in his right man would turn to a black woman. Okay, so he's just... He said some pretty other disturbing stuff I won't share here. My ex's friends thought it was weird, but didn't pay much mind because it's always been Alex's humor to make discriminatory or jokes. They thought he was just frustrated about being single. Well, now my ex now believes Alex did all of this because he's low-key discriminatory and didn't want one of his friends to date outside of their race. I asked him what this is low-key and how irresponsible it was to not warn me and also subject me to people like this. He apologized profusely, saying he never really saw it until now, which I find really hard to believe. I was honestly speechless about how my ex lied to me, tested me, and how he was occasionally hanging out with discriminatory. My ex went on telling me how amazing I am and how he can't believe he ruined everything for another 5 minutes or so until I asked him if there was anything important he needed to tell me or if anything was still unsaid. He said no, and that he didn't want to be selfish, but all he could ask was for me to consider the possibility of mending this relationship with the help of God. I didn't say anything, just got up, opened the door, and asked him if he had my stuff in his car. He said yes, so we went downstairs and I got my stuff out of his car. He asked if he could hug me. I said I didn't know, so he hugged me and told me he was sorry.
I imagine OP should have been like, can God help you get my stuff out of your car? Can he help you with that?
I think the Lord needs to help you get my stuff out of your car.
I don't think we need the Lord to salvage our relationship. I think we need to help you get my stuff out of the trunk. Let's go.
Let's go. Then I went inside again to call my best friend. My ex has reached out to me about 10 times until I finally blocked him everywhere. One of his guy friends, girlfriends, even reached out to me saying that she feels for me and that she met Alex and that he never once said something like this in front of her. How we've all been deceived. I told her that, as good as her intentions might be, she should tell my ex that if he still has any respect for me, he would make sure that neither he nor any of his acquaintances ever reach out to me again. As weird as it may sound, finding out all of this just made it easier for me to move on from him. I am still in shock and I'm still hurt, but I realized in the time we were dating, I never really knew him or his family. In the past weeks, I've really started to heal and reflect on myself and my attachment style, as some of you suggested. I've never been single or not dating anyone for longer than a month, and I tend to get wrapped up in my emotions pretty easily. I realized that I was always a little scared to be completely single. And you will never be completely by yourself if you go to your favorite podcast platform, search up OK Storytime, and boom, you can hear us, and we'll be with you anywhere where you go. We have stories just like this.
That's right.
And yeah, that's pretty solid advice. What would you say, Dakota?
Pretty sound.
Have you ever been with someone for like 2.5 months?
Yeah.
How did you move on from it?
We just kind of broke up. They actually moved. And
Oh,
I mean, we kind of knew that it was
gonna happen.
what was up. And she actually sent me a really nice message at one point. You just move.
Yeah.
Continue to put one foot in front of the other. And girl, if you haven't been single for more than a month, be single for a year.
Yeah.
You need to find yourself.
Yeah, you really do.
You need to get in touch with what you want and what you are.
It's a
looking
phrase
for.
I hate to say, but you got to focus on yourself.
On top of that, I tend to fall for people who carry a lot of emotional burdens themselves, So I'm working on that in the moment. I'm sorry if you expected a dramatic plot twist of me admitted to sleeping with Alex or anything like that. Thank you guys again for all the comments. No, that was pretty dramatic. I was not expecting that.
I cut off my best friend right before my wedding, and I don't feel bad.
I guess you're gonna have to find a new maid of honor.
I, 26 female, and my now ex-bestie, let's call her Amy, also 26 female, have been close friends for the last 15 years. When I met her in middle school, I was a very awkward and withdrawn person. I was still living with my family who mistreated me physically and mentally, and I didn't know how to have normal interactions or how to make or keep friends. By the way, this comes from user You Got No Dirty Jam Jams. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, despite this, she was happy to be my friend and teach me social norms. She always went out of her way to make sure I knew I was always loved and always had somebody to rely on, and acted like the big sister I had always wanted. She was also very honest about certain behaviors or opinions I had that she didn't like or were inappropriate, and would suggest how I could work on them to be a better person in the long term. For this, I will always be grateful. Cut to a few years later. I left the house when I turned 18 to attend uni in another state. I would come back home every few months, but would spend most of my time with Amy. I noticed that her family had become a lot more controlling. They wouldn't let her leave the house without them. They'd also police her friendships and relationships and gaslight her into doing what they thought was right. At the same time, Amy began belittling me in small ways and talking down to me. She'd call me names, comment on my weight or style, and how miserly I was.
She's calling you miserly?
A miser, a person who hoards money and is excessively stingy, often to the point of living in wretched circumstances to save money.
If we were hanging out as a group and a friend made a joke, she would jump at the opportunity to make fun of me and have people laugh at my expense. I let this go most of the time because she was my best friend and I owed her so much. Sometimes I'd mention it and she'd get angry or upset and claim I misunderstood her and that I'm being dramatic. We'd stop talking for a while and then become friends again, pretending the fight didn't happen. But this would happen over and over again. A few years down the line, I moved to a different country, got a master's degree at an Ivy League university, and met my fiance, who means the world to me. Amy, on the other hand, slowly isolated herself from all of her friends. She claimed these friendships, which wouldn't last more than a few weeks, weren't good enough for her, and she spent all day at home by herself while her family turned even more bitter and controlling. It was difficult to have conversations with her because she had become incredibly misogynistic and a bit of a pick-me.
Yikes.
She would always talk about how women have become so low value.
Ew! Who is this girl?
She would always talk about how women have become so low value and they need to be better for their men and the need for more men's rights. She'd talk about how we were too hard on a certain misogynist and that he had some valid opinions. I'm pretty sure they're talking about Andrew Tate.
Yes, sorry. Think a bald man.
She's also let her boyfriend treat her poorly, claiming that what little he did, she barely deserved.
Girl, get out of there.
It was very hard for me to hear her talk like this, considering the harmful past I had, and it was horrifying to see her slowly turn into the opposite of who I knew her as. Not to mention the belittling was now in full drive. She judged me so harshly on my decisions, most of which are just normal life choices. She told me I wasn't womanly enough and that my ideals of a relationship were problematic. Every time I expressed an opinion, she would jump and express an opposite opinion and demand that I debate with her, even if my opinion was a basic human right. She would mention things I told her I'm insecure about in front of other people, but without mentioning my name. Ooh, that's trash.
And the funny thing is that if she actually didn't have, if she was actually living in the world that she supposedly wants, she wouldn't be able to say any of this.
For example, I told her about how I wished I had a better job after uni and that I moved to another country just to keep earning minimum wage. I also told her that over time I was able to fathom more and more about how badly my family had treated me and that I was consumed with anger and it was taking over my life. When we would hang out with friends, she would casually mention how she could never work a minimum wage job that didn't make her happy, and that she feels sorry for people who only focus on their anger, and that she would never stoop to that level.
Oh, you exhaust me, lady. You exhaust me.
This is coming from someone who has never left the nest, always had someone do her chores, has never paid a bill, and has more or less never felt the hardships of adult life. And the way she mentioned my issues was worse than when she'd openly mention them because it made me feel isolated and took me straight back into my previous life at home. I had to walk on eggshells around her not to provoke an outburst and not to overshare anything she could use against me. But I still kept the friendship because
Why?
I owe her so much.
Oh, her for what?
And I didn't want to leave at a time she needed me. Amy had a habit of sending regular hour-long voice notes where she would ramble on with a few important things about her life scattered here and there. I was listening to one where she talked about being a shell of her former self, which was maybe 5 minutes of the voice note, and she ended it with, "OP, you may feel like you've become more dull as well, but we just need to focus on becoming a better person." That was it. How dare she comment so nonchalantly like that? I never thought of myself as dull. I had spent my entire adult life trying to find my true personality away from my family, and I had just begun therapy sessions to work on my anger issues. I asked her why she called me dull. She didn't respond. I asked her again. She said I mentioned something like that about myself some time ago, and that if I wanted to talk about my opinion, I can call her anytime. How nice of her. I told her I didn't like the way she'd been treating me unfairly all these years and that I won't keep making excuses for her behavior. She told me I seemed convinced that she's the enemy. I told her I'm not going to let her walk over me anymore and that I won't let her be the victim this time. She said this was just a misunderstanding and that I've become too negative. I finally told her I expect an apology and that if she couldn't respect me as a human being, I have to take a step back from this friendship. We didn't speak for a few months. Cut to now. Bro, are you going to talk to her again?
Stop.
You know, what's the point you would have cut her off? Do you have one in your head? I have one in mind.
It's like at the beginning of the story.
My fiance and I decided to do a destination elopement with a few friends. Throughout the planning, I kept thinking I needed to invite Amy to the wedding. I always envisioned her being there, and I thought we could reinvigorate our friendship, so I texted her and invited her to my wedding and offered to pay for her flights and accommodation. She said she would check her schedule and congratulated me on my wedding. Then
Early.
crickets. Good. Just don't care about this person. Stop it.
You offered to pay for her flight?
God, this is the worst chronic people pleaser I think I've ever seen.
Oh, yikes. You got to go to the doctor for that.
Let go of this.
Or a therapist, I suppose.
Let go of her. I asked her if she could figure out if she was able to come because I needed to make the bookings. I told her I'd be happy to sponsor her stay there for longer if she'd like to find a job and move there or have some personal time to relax. She said she would have to come with her dad because they wouldn't let her travel alone. I was okay with that, even though it was kind of weird. A few days later, she asked, "Why would you invite me to your wedding even though you think I have failed as a friend and I'm not worth talking
That's
to?"
an excellent question.
That's
That's the most reasonable thing she said all day.
the first thing that's made sense in this whole story.
Wow.
Okay, so
Wow.
we've got one person who's in the real world here. Let's
And
figure it
it's
out.
shockingly the person who's the worst.
I told her I didn't think she'd failed as a friend at all, and that I just wanted to enforce my boundaries. I told her that she was my best friend, and I wanted her to be there. She said that she didn't feel any emotional connection from my side, and that I abandoned her when she needed me the most. She said she thought I broke her trust, even though she treated me like family. She then wished me good luck with life and said it was nice knowing me. At this point, I was so angry, I called her dramatic and said that she didn't care about my needs.
Joy.
I told her, wow, oh yeah, that was so angry of you.
He's like, I have anger issues. You don't care about my needs.
And you're being dramatic. Maybe
Grr.
OP's just saying it in the nice way.
Yeah, maybe
Maybe OP did not be that nice.
Maybe her friend was like, you have anger issues. And OP was like, you're right.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's a belief that she picked up from this, horrible friend. I told her I'm sick of her always turning herself into the victim and that the only reason she didn't want to be friends anymore is because she is no longer the center of attention. I called her a narcissist and told her to give up her pride and get real. She did not respond to this.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
And by the way, you can respond to the knowledge that there are full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can respond to that by going and listening to them. Just search OK Storytime on your platform of choice. And you have a plethora, in the most real sense of the word, a plethora of stories to pick and to choose from. I am now in turmoil. I don't know if I made a huge mistake and have lost my best friend forever. She's not your best friend. Or if I should be glad to dodge a bullet.
Girl,
Ding,
you
ding,
didn't
ding,
dodge
ding.
the bullet. The bullet hit you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the bullet hit you, it went out, and then you dove in front of it again, and then it went out of you, and then you dove in front of it
Yeah,
again.
you somersaulted into it.
Somehow you got hit by the bullet, the same bullet, like 6 times.
Yeah, but in OP's defense, the rest of the parts of her body that didn't get hit by the bullet did dodge the bullet.
It's true.
I've had my fair share of narcissists in my life. I'm a recovering people pleaser.
I don't know if you've recovered yet.
But yeah, you're definitely in recovery still. But I can't say for sure if I just overreacted.
No.
So am I the a-hole?
Girl,
No, you're not.
What?
Really not.
Girl.
You're too forgiving. We do have an edit here at the very end. During our entire friendship, she was happy to listen to all my problems and be there for me if I needed her. She'd offer what advice she could. Sometimes she'd be condescending, but I think she was responding to the best of her knowledge. She also expressed happiness whenever I was happy, and she'd support me in my life decisions that she agreed with. That is the end of that story.
My sister's beliefs are starting to ruin our relationship. I want to cut her off.
I believe you stink.
I, 48 female, have 5 siblings. I am the oldest, and for a significant portion of my life, I was the only child since my parents had me as teenagers, married for less than 2 years. Then divorced when my mother turned 18 and dad was 21. I lived with my mom after that and saw dad on occasion. By the way, this comes from SelectGoat5572, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I wanted siblings very much growing up. My half-brother was born when I was 9, and he is definitely my favorite, even though he has severe autism and only speaks in one-word sentences.
Okay.
We have the same mom, but different dads. Being a sibling to someone with a mental disability hardwires you into a certain kind of person, one who forgives things very easily and who stays under the radar. That's the kind of person I am, just FYI. My 3 step-siblings I no longer talk to, even though one of them I do want to be in contact with. Another story for another day. The meat of the story is this. My youngest sister is almost 14 years younger than me, and we share a dad. She was technically my second sibling, even though I was a bit jealous to see my dad be a better dad to her than he ever was to me. I'd had him all to myself until she was born. I was still very happy to have her in my life, and I put in a lot of effort to be around her while she was growing up. Eventually, I realized we grew up with 2 different versions of our dad. I got fun dad, and she got strict dad. So the jealousy only lasted a few years. Our dad passed away in 2008. She was 18 and I was 32. And she moved in with me and my family for a couple of months before she decided she didn't like my rules and moved out. In 2011, she told me she felt she was better off without me and no longer wanted me in her life. Wow. I tried to find out why, but she wouldn't tell me. For 2 months, I texted and emailed asking her to at least give me a reason. And when she wouldn't, I gave up and said I loved her and was there for her if she needed me. She contacted me the very next day and forgave me, but still never told me why. After that, I felt like I was walking on eggshells.
No way. I refuse. I'm not accepting that.
No, you need to tell me a reason. In 2016, we went on a road trip and got into a major fight, one that broke something inside me. I ended the trip early and brought us home. We were in my car, and for 13 hours, she yelled and screamed at me with breaks in between.
Well, I hope you were using the brakes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Wait. But also, she's like screaming at you, and then she's like, okay, hold on. I have to go on my phone for a couple of minutes.
Yeah. She's like, oh my God, wait, hold on. This is my jam. Hold up. This is my jam. My jam
And then
just
she's
turned
like,
on.
you suck. Okay, wait. Okay, back to it.
Yeah.
I seriously considered leaving her at a bus stop, but when she would stop, I thought she was done and would continue on. Within an hour, she would start all over again. This was October, and after I dropped her off, I felt like I was never going to talk to her again. Like I was done with her. I had never been that mad in my entire life. I started seeing a therapist around that time for job counseling, and my therapist told me that my youngest sibling might be bipolar. Keep that in mind. Being told that about a family member makes you reframe your thinking a bit, like, should I forgive her? No, you just go with that information and you say, hey, you should probably get some help. Doesn't mean that you have to accept all of the treatment that you're getting.
I wouldn't forgive her until she comes to you in a manner where it seems like she is seeking forgiveness.
And also in a manner that she's getting like, she's also getting help too. Right now, like nothing is happening.
Yeah.
At Thanksgiving of that year, that was when my relationship with the stepsister I loved ended. Her mom married and divorced our dad, and I instigated it. I sent her a text. Another long story, so I'll just leave it at that. What? My stepsister didn't respond, but the day after that, my youngest sister sent me a slew of nasty text messages saying she was cutting me off before I cut her off, because obviously family didn't mean anything to me. I let her and went no contact. I wanted to leave it that way, I really did, when January 2017 came around. But her mom passed away. I didn't want to be the type of wiener sibling that didn't even show for a funeral because I felt we would probably make up one day, but I was waiting until I was no longer angry. I went to the funeral. We agreed to talk and try to patch things up, but she told me I would have to change things about myself. 2 days later, after she ripped me apart for an hour, I got up and walked away from her, determined to stick to my no contact decision. Oh, and this is where the kid part comes in. She was pregnant at the time with her first child. I let her rip me apart because she was pregnant and had high blood pressure, and we passed away of heart attacks in my family. That was how our dad had passed. I didn't even defend myself against the horrible things she said to me that day because I wanted her to have a stress-free pregnancy, and I was worried that if I spoke, she would lose the baby.
Well, maybe also her like going off on you, probably not great for her blood pressure. I think generally you could just be like, hey, we should all just calm down.
Yeah.
Which, as we all know, is the best thing to say to someone who's worked up.
Yeah. That's true. Probably a better way to say it. I say that because my first child was born 6 weeks early when my old blood pressure spiked from a stressful situation my ex-stepmother put me through. Again, long story, another day. From January to October of that year, my sister got married. I wasn't invited. I switched jobs and moved out of state with my family. She had her baby, and then she finally called me in October to apologize and ask if we could make up. A full year after the road trip, and the longest we had ever not talked. I had calmed down by then. I am someone who prefers to forgive easily. My fellow people pleasers would understand that. And we made up. Oh, how I wish I had never answered that call. That Christmas, my youngest sister was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder when she was forcibly entered into a hospital psych ward. She had gone there for something medical. She had been sick, depressed, and got some kind of cold. And the staff at the hospital forcibly committed her. This is what her husband told me. Whoa.
Well,
what was she doing? Yeah, what was she doing?
Gotten aggressive or
she must
violent.
have.
Who knows?
They kept her for 2 weeks because she was self-harming and they worried she might hurt my niece. They prescribed her meds, counseled her, and she was forced to stick with both for months afterwards. Quick insert here, my sister is a terrible mother. When I was raising my own 2 kids, she would try to give me advice about how to raise them, but I would stop her because she didn't have kids at that time. She would tell me, you're not supposed to raise kids like that. The internet says, girl.
Dude, the internet says all kinds of
Girl,
real great stuff.
And I would shut her down with, you don't get to tell me how to raise my kids. I changed your diapers. This caused a lot of tension between us. Back to the story. When she had her kids, she raised them according to how the internet told her to raise them. And she made it clear that my advice was not welcome. I was fine with that. But secretly, I gloated because she turned her first child into a little monster. She believes you never say no to a kid and that you should coddle them when they cry. I truly disliked my niece for the first 4 years of her life until my sister got pregnant again and stopped the meds. When my nephew was born, my sister finally started saying no to my niece. And I actually like her now. She's become more like me, quieter, calmer, happy to have a little brother. She's become your typical older sibling. Her little brother is a little crap though. Little devil. But the point is, my sister wants to have more kids. She's decided she wants 4. So she's never returned to her meds because she's either breastfeeding, which she does for 2 years after every child, or she's trying to get pregnant. She had my nephew back in 2021, and she's been trying to get pregnant ever since. Where is like the husband and all that? He's just kind of like, oh, okay, I know you need like medication, but let's just have kids.
Yeah, he's just floating around. He's just up in the sky.
Clearly. She's miscarried twice since then, and now she's 43 weeks pregnant. You read that right. 43. She's 3 weeks overdue. Wow. And they're expecting the baby to be at least 10 pounds.
Whew. How much I was.
Dang.
At least. The doctors still aren't sure how much I weighed.
What?
That doesn't make sense. What?
How? Are they not sure?
They literally
That's
weigh
why
you.
they're unsure.
Where were you
Of course
born?
they're sure how much I weighed, you guys. Why are we taking this so serious?
What did you mean by that?
Yeah, what did you mean by that?
I don't know. I guess whatever it was, I achieved it because I had delivered it in a way where you went, no way.
Here's where my issues with her come in. When she commits to something, she commits. And right now, she is committed to becoming the scary kind of Catholic. I have nothing against Catholics, but she's got a giant picture of Jesus right next to her living room TV and has painted some ridiculous made-up phrase about grace on another living room wall that makes no sense to me. It's definitely not from the Bible. Her home is like a filthy, dirty loony bin because she doesn't really clean, and she's become a bit of a hoarder. When I visit, we don't leave her gross house. And she has given up her 4-year Ivy League degree to be a stay-at-home mom because I don't know. I really don't.
Well, I mean, sometimes, that happens.
Yeah.
That kind of happened to my mom. Like, my mom had she was an entrepreneur. She built businesses and stuff. And she had me and she was like, I am not spending any more time doing that.
I don't think that's that crazy of a thing to do.
Yeah, sometimes people have a kid and they're like, oh, this is my thing now. I'm dropping everything for this creature that I gave
gotta
birth
take care
to.
of the creature now. The last visit that I had with her 2 years ago, she told me not to say the word attracted to the same gender in front of her children because she didn't want to teach them about that. And her church says...
Okay, so for reference, that word was gay.
Yeah, for reference, she sucks. I cut her off and told her to shut the F up. My oldest is trans, non-binary, and you could say they're attracted to the same gender since they were assigned female at birth and now go by they, and my oldest likes girls. Before you ask, we're fine with it. We accepted it from day one. While a part of me is still holding on to the dream of being the best big sister ever and having super close relationships with my siblings, secretly I hate people who are close to their siblings. I get so jealous when my coworkers tell me how close they are to their siblings, that they have weekly meals together or go on trips together.
Boy, Opie's gonna hate you and Sam.
Yeah. Ooh, we
And
live
me.
together.
Actually, me and my sister. too.
Yeah. Yeah, we both live with our siblings.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. I want that so bad, but it seems it's not in my stars. Still, I want to cut my sister off because she's way too intense for me now. Every phone conversation becomes an argument she has to win, even though we aren't arguing. Every phone call lasts at least an hour, and she always turns it into a praise Jesus session.
Praise Jesus.
I consider myself a Christian, but her ideas about Christianity are so absurd. Like, she literally said one time that the Catholic Church has never persecuted anyone ever. And she said the history books were just lying. She's straight up Delulu. I don't know if she would get better if she went back on meds. I wasn't really around when she was on them. But I feel like the more kids she has, the crazier she seems to get. I want out. I'm super low contact now, but I still want out. However, I can't seem to get rid of this guilt about it because she has no one left. No parents, no grandparents. She doesn't live near any of our relatives, and she's not close to any of them, even if she did. Her in-laws don't really like her, and I wouldn't be surprised if her husband divorced her one day. I think he's a saint for still being with her. I want to cut her off, but I know she's getting self-harming tendencies, and I do worry about my niece now. By the way, I'm just going to lead into that. You can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search for Poke Storytime.
Indeed.
But there is a little bit left to the story.
Indeed.
If you cannot deal with her behavior anymore, and what's best for you is, limiting contact, then you got to do what's best for you. But it doesn't mean you have to go completely no contact if you still want to keep an eye on your niece.
Yeah. It's a hard situation to be in, acute mental illness is involved some way. It's never an excuse for behavior. It informs behavior.
Yeah.
But it's you have to make the call yourself on if, this is something that you can handle in your own life, because you can't be prioritizing somebody else's emotional state.
And also someone
over
who's
your own
not getting
life.
medicated, who knows they should
Right.
be medicated and is
Right.
is not being medicated.
You're not teenagers. Your sister has to make her own decisions about that stuff. No one can do it for her. I mean, unless she, I guess, goes to the hospital and probably
Yeah.
attacks a nurse or something, whatever happened that got her put in a
Psych ward.
involuntary hold. But you're gonna have to find a way to make peace with the fact that you can't make her do anything.
Exactly. Our aunt, who's the nicest, sweetest aunt in the world, in my opinion, and the one person I most try to emulate, thinks I should just forgive her and continue being there for her, but I can't. I want to let her go, but what's the magic phrase? I know I'm not really an a-hole because I'm still hanging around, but I want to be the a-hole. Unfortunately, I'm hardwired to be the people pleaser. Someone give me the magic phrase that will release the guilt, please. Help me become an a-hole.
No, I don't want to make you an
No.
a-hole.
No, I
I
refuse.
don't want to do that.
Can't change the fact that she has borderline personality disorder, and so it's just managing how much you're able, how much contact you're able to have with her for your, while also still maintaining your own mental health.
Right.
But that is the end of that story.
My best friend made horrible choices. I can't have her in my life.
Then cut her out of it.
Trigger warning, regular user of substances. Let me preface this by saying that this is a complicated situation. I'm not one of a kind, I'm sure, but it's an odd one, so I don't really know how I'm supposed to feel, act, or proceed. This is going to be long, so I apologize. Hey, we're buckled in. My 31 female best friend, 32 female, and I have been friends since we were in the 7th grade. We clicked from day one. We were inseparable and never had one fight until a few years ago. She was my person. We could go to each other for anything, or so I thought.
Thought wrong.
By the way, this comes from Rain Sniffer on the r/Dusty Thunder subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime, baby. Now, she ended up getting together with my brother, 39 male, when she was 18 and has been with him ever since. They have 2 beautiful little ones together. I've always been ecstatic about this relationship. 2 of my favorite people ever. I loved it. I bring him up because he's a vital part of this. My relationship with my brother is complicated as well, though. He's always been troubled. He struggles a lot with mental health, and he is a regular user of substances, but he has a heart of gold. I love him so much. He and my best friend started experimenting with substances very quickly into their relationship, something I was blind to. Now, this went on for years, a majority of our friendship, and it got worse as time went on until he was a full-on regular user. Now, I wasn't aware of anything for a long time. They finally told me about their struggles in 2019, and I honestly did my very best to be supportive and do whatever I could to help them. I checked up regularly, but was always careful to not make them uncomfortable. We are all still close at this point, saw each other often, and I was hopeful that they were on the road to recovery. Then, in 2020, they hit some financial hardships, and they asked if they could move in with me and my husband and children. I agreed to have them move in, and my best friend, brother, and their 2 children moved in. All was well for a few months. The agreement was they wouldn't pay any bills. Instead, they would try to save up as much as possible and just help with groceries. A few months after they moved in, I noticed they were not acting okay at all. I kept catching them nodding off, falling asleep while eating, not coming out of their room. I got worried but didn't know how to approach it. I hoped that they would come to me, but they didn't, and things got progressively worse. I was having to take care of my niece and nephew full time, and I tried to keep the kids in the dark as much as I could. There would be screaming matches. I would take the kids outside to play, and then I wouldn't hear a peep from them for days. It got to a point where I checked on them several times to make sure they haven't OD'd. I was terrified and even more scared one of the kids might find them. It all came to a head when I finally broke the silence when my best friend was nodding off while talking to me one day. She was about to leave with the kids to drive her to her mother-in-law's house, and I asked her if she was okay and if she was struggling again, and she lost it on me. She said I had no tact and that I was messed up for suggesting that. She tried to leave, so I called my brother at work to stop her. Did. That was the beginning of the end. Way too much happened to put here, but it was a lot, including leaving the kids with me and running off and having to be found by my brother and brought back. Everything continued the same, and eventually my brother told me everything. He wanted me to know it all, that they were still active regular users, but he wanted to stop. My best friend was barely speaking to me at this point and declined any time I asked if she wanted to hang out or watch a movie or anything. When she started bringing around her new friend, which turned out to be the dealer, who would leave her baby with me without my consent while she and my best friend locked themselves in her room. I couldn't take it anymore, and I tried to approach them about all of the issues. It took me a week to figure out what to say. I decided to write out a long text so I wouldn't get emotional or flustered and can choose all of my words carefully. She texted me later and said how messed up I was for acting that way, the way I was, and for not being supportive and for judging them. I apologized and said I just didn't know how to help them the way they needed. They moved out immediately. Okay.
Oh.
So I don't know if this is, I guess we'll get clarification,
Yeah.
but unexpected. They moved out immediately and we didn't speak for months. We started talking again slowly and it was strained. I apologized for making them feel bad and that wasn't my intention. Shortly after this, I separated from my husband and I let her know about it. Okay, we are
Whoa, a lot is happening.
that was just total curveball.
Yeah, geez, wow.
She didn't text me back for a week after that. When she finally called, I almost cried because I was so relieved and needed her. She asked me for money and said nothing else.
I mean, it really, really hurts. Like, absolutely, if you are, feeling a lot of emotions because of this, makes sense. But
Yeah.
I think it's also just knowing, like, this isn't because she hates you. This isn't because
Yes.
you did something wrong. This is because she is sick.
Yes.
And she is dealing with the substance. And that is something that very quickly becomes out of control.
Yeah.
And you lose a lot of your kind of mind to this disease.
100%.
Yeah.
You clearly are extremely thoughtful and intentional and
Yeah.
trying to communicate from a place of empathy. But again, like, it's a disease. So the disease is taking control and everything at this point. Things were really bad for me the last year, but this divorce was the final straw and I spiraled. I ended up withdrawing from everyone and didn't try to talk to her for a week. I was nearly hospitalized from the emotional wreck that I was. So at the end of the week, she checked into rehab unbeknownst to me. When she got out, I reached out to tell her I was proud of her and asked her how she was doing. She was livid that I quote unquote abandoned her when she needed me. I apologized and said that I didn't want to abandon her. I was just struggling very badly. She told me she was done with me and cut off all contact. My brother followed suit with her, but I never got an explanation from him.
I mean, the explanation is that they're in a relationship together and
Yeah.
they're kind of one mind as they're this echo chamber for each other because they're both dealing with this substance abuse problem. So whatever she says about you, he's like, she's not there for us. We're dealing with something so hard. She's not,
Yeah, and kind of to your point earlier of like, definitely don't beat yourself up for like, oh, was I like, you did the most. You allowed them in your home when it was a great risk to you and your children. You've done a lot in this scenario. I'm at a loss. It's been a year since she cut contact and I am not coping well. I miss her and I miss my brother so much. They're my favorite people in the whole world. Not to mention my niece and my nephew. I wrote them each letters a couple of months back apologizing for everything. I made sure not to invalidate any way that I might have made them feel. I told them that if they gave me an opening to make amends, that I would take it and that I love them and I hope they were happy.
Hope he's falling into this trap of like taking their reactions based off of their addictions to heart.
Yeah.
I mean, like, oh, I did do something wrong. They told me I did something wrong, so I must be. It's like, no, you don't owe them an apology. You can offer them support. You can say, hey, I'm going to be there for you. But, you're really deep in this until you try to help yourself a little bit. Like, there's not much I can do. But OP's falling in this trap of, I did something wrong.
If this was a thing where substance use wasn't involved at all, that's a totally different story. We're now operating way more on a baseline. But again, it's the disease that's taking control. I was told by a mutual friend that she threw both letters away without giving my brother his. I haven't heard anything. I've given up hope on it. Someone told me recently that they got sober and I started to hope that they might want to reconnect, but I've since just given up on that. I don't know what to do or how to move on, and I feel like I'm stuck. So much has happened, but I can't bring myself to be angry at them. I'm just devastated and confused. Is there anyone that's experienced anything close to this? Can you offer any advice? I'm sorry this is so long. I tried to shorten it. By the way, if you want to listen to stories like this, full episodes, we have 2,000 episodes in our catalog. Please go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, search OK Storytime, and we've got our whole catalog for you there. We've got a little bit left in this story. Edit to add, I actually wrote this post a year ago, and it just took me a while to actually find the courage to post it. It's been over 2 years since they went radio silent. Actually, this past August, my brother's mom, different moms, reached out and told me to get a hold of him and that he needed me. I did without hesitation. He was sober and a single father. He had gone to rehab and he had come home to my friend, shacked up with someone else. He started to make amends with me. And I was honest in telling him that I was terrified because I didn't want him to ghost me again. He promised me he wouldn't and told me to trust him, and he said that he was sorry. I did, but I was fighting the urge to cut and run. He then let her back into his life after she ended up on the streets and I had a panic attack. He again reassured me that he would keep me as his priority. I kept initiating contact, but it kept falling flat. So I let it lie and I just gave him space. I ended up not hearing from him for about 2 months. So I was right in being fearful of history repeating. I feel dumb, but I finally asked him why I hadn't heard from him and I haven't gotten a reply yet. I'm debating on whether or not to send a farewell text or to just stay silent. Yeah, I mean, again, OP, you've really taken a lot of things to heart that were not your fault. You don't deserve to, feel bad or responsible or anything in that vein. The actions of your friend and your brother. I think like it kind of seems like this is where OP was getting to, but just saying like, hey, I'm just gonna like focus on me and my life and just like put your kids, everything else. If you eventually want to get back into dating or whatever it is, just like focusing on you. Whatever fills your cup. I feel like that's
absolutely
the best thing to do here.
And it's also, I mean, like, you can have empathy, your brother and your friend, of course, but it's just knowing, like, not your fault. And also just like very sad of what I know about, they don't recommend that you hang out with the people that, led you down that road. It seems like that's what he's doing. He was in his recovery journey and then let her back in. And this is not something that it said, and I don't want to like assume anything, but like there is a possibility that if OP didn't know anything about her brother doing this before, that she was the person who introduced him to it in the first place, which is just kind of a conjecture. But yeah, it seems like he's in this cycle. I hate my best friend, but I'm gonna be her bridesmaid.
Don't do that.
I met my best friend 10 years ago when we were 16. I didn't like her at first, but she saw me laughing and decided she was going to be my friend. And so she would constantly make conversation until I couldn't ignore her, and we became best friends. We were both outsiders, with us moving from different schools at around the same time, so we never had other friends but each other in our final years of school. As we have grown up, we kept our friendship and remained close. By the way, this comes from Deleted, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, about 4 years ago, I met this boy named Jacob. He was my first boyfriend. I've never been pretty, so he was the first guy to show me attention outside of hookups. He took me on my first proper date. We started to plan moving in together. Whoa. Dang. And discussing our future, I was truly happy. But then after a year, he said words that made my stomach drop.
Uh-oh.
He asked me if I would mind if he started dating my best friend?
What? While they are dating?
What?
That's
babe.
so insane.
If
I
you
knew
don't
you were gonna
mind,
do that.
Could I go date your best friend?
No. But you also can't date me anymore.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Bye.
That's what you gotta say.
I can tell you the exact details of that day. I had just finished work. I had a really good day because my favorite dog had come in and I was on my way back.
Cute.
My phone rang in the car and Jacob said he wanted to talk. He told me he had been talking to my best friend for a while and that he fell in love with her and wanted to know if it was okay to start dating her. No. She also felt the same way about him.
Oh.
That's not your best friend or your boyfriend, actually. She also
Wow.
felt the same way about him, but said he had to get my permission before they took things further out of respect. That's not respect. No. No.
What is this?
No.
And by the title, I don't like where this is going.
No. Sophie, my best friend, has always been the pretty one, which has never been an issue. Of course she's beautiful. I tell her that all the time. I packed Jacob's things out of my house and handed them to him with a smile and congratulated them. It wasn't until the next day I even cried or got angry. But ever since, the resentment has been building. It isn't like a I hate this bee kind of resentment. I'm still her friend, but it's like I can't be with her for longer than a few hours or everything she does start to annoy me. Girl, this is your fault.
What
This is
is
your fault.
happening here?
When someone says, I want to steal your boyfriend, and your boyfriend says, I want to date your best friend, you say, you guys suck, bye. That's what you
Yeah.
say. I'm still her friend, but it's like I can't be with her for longer than a few hours or everything she does starts to annoy me. Why does she look at her phone so much? Why does she expect me to buy her so much? Why is everything she says only about her? Why does she talk over everyone, you know? Just those tiny things you used to ignore become unbearable, so I have to make an excuse and go. Well, now 3 years after the breakup, they're married, and she wants me to be her bridesmaid. You're dumb.
This is crazy.
You're dumb.
Ah, man.
Why is everyone in these stories stupid? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're dumb. I don't mean to be harsh, but you are. I don't want to say yes, then don't. The thought makes me feel sick, then don't do it. I hate my best friend so much I don't want to be a part of her wedding, but I know I'll say yes. You're dumb. Because if I say no, it will make her unhappy and I'd become the bad guy. No one would think that you are the bad guy. Your boyfriend and your best friend cheated on you together. You don't have to go to their wedding. Oh, man. So I'll be the head bridesmaid whose one and only boyfriend left her for the bride. And I'll smile and act happy. Maybe the universe will have mercy and have a truck run me over on the way to the rehearsal dinner or something.
Okay. They're just gonna have you there so they can point and laugh at you. Ha 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 ha. That's the only reason.
Yeah,
they're
what are you
have
gonna do? Are they gonna have you do a speech and you're gonna be like, when I started dating, I'm gonna name him Brad. When I started dating Brad 3 years ago, I knew that my best friend Sherry would love him.
That would be so perfect.
Yeah.
Just totally
Call
in
him
your maid of honor speech, just totally call them out and be like, I knew that they would be perfect together when I was dating him and he asked if he could date her when we were still freaking together.
And I waited 3 years to tell this story.
Yeah. I'm so happy that they finally found each other while I was in a relationship with him and they were secretly emotionally cheating behind my back. I'm so happy for them.
Update. So I will not be saying yes or no. I think I'm just gonna ghost them.
What?
I mean,
Well,
sure.
Sure.
Go
Honestly,
ahead.
it's better than your first option.
Whatever.
You have the right to be angry and say no and explain yourself
She
too.
just-
Honestly,
Can't.
if the option is yes or ghost them. I'm moving states anyway, and I can move up the date from mid next year to February if I want. I know they will talk crap about me behind my back, but I don't care anymore. I won't be able to hear it. I'll be a 3-hour plane ride away. I will also block them on everything. They also don't know I'm moving because they never asked or care. Are we shocked that they don't care about you? Because if I don't say no to being bridesmaid, she will assume yes. And so she will be planning as if involved, even if I don't join in.
Sure. Then you go and you have that expensive food and cake and then you dip. I'm only here for the food.
Minor update. I spoke to my boss at my new job about moving up the date of my move to early next year. And they said I can move the date up to late November if I want because of the December rush, they will need an extra pair of hands. So I will be gone by the end of the year. I have 2 months to go house hunting and get my stuff down south. Wish me luck. Comments. We've been waiting for these the whole time.
No, we have the
from when we
content.
accidentally started.
Yep.
We needed that content to understand why these comments are about to rip into her.
Absolutely.
Comment 1. Babe, she should have never talked to your boyfriend. And she should have never asked you if it was okay to date him. That's so effed. A real friend would never do that, especially while you were actively dating him. Comment 2. If I say no, then it'd make her unhappy and then I'd be the bad guy. So be the bad guy. There's nothing wrong with doing what you want for yourself if that makes you the bad guy. F it. You're the bad guy. What are they going to do? Hold you at gunpoint to be embarrassed at the wedding? Not go through with the wedding? Not talk to you anymore? You don't seem to like her much as it is anymore. Opie says, fine, but if they hold me at pew pew point, you're going to feel real guilty.
Real guilty.
For real, though, I know what I have to do, but it's like, when you just don't want to deal with the fallout. You've been dealing with the fallout for 3 years. The fallout is that your ex-boyfriend and your ex-friend are getting married.
Everything has already fallen.
The messages about dragging of your name through the mud and the anger, it's just so tiring just to think about it. Comment 3
He's
says,
learning.
what the heck? Stop being a doormat. Dump her and block her butt. Tell her, heck no, you will not be in or at her wedding because she's a selfish, self-centered witch. And you have zero desire to even be her friend anymore. And she expects you to buy her crap. She has clearly been using and bullying you through this whole relationship, so stop putting up with it. There is an update, folks. It's been a while since I made the post, so I thought I would update you as Sophie now knows I don't like her. She didn't know.
Oh, good.
I went to a dinner with me, her sister, and another girl I don't know, Allison. The dinner was fine. I didn't really say much because I have been really stressed with work and moving. I've been flying in and out of the state trying to sort things out, and my dogs are staying at my mom's house, but one of them just got sick. Basically, I am dealing with enough. At the dinner, Sophie brings up me and my ex and how I brought them together. No. No.
You are sorely mistaken, Allison.
And I smiled at first and laughed it off because I didn't want to make a big deal out of anything. Allison said in passing she finds it weird that I haven't dated anyone since. I again didn't say anything because I'm not hung up on him. I'm just not interested in anyone. I have my own busy life, and the thought of coming home from work after spending all day pleasing clients and worrying about another person makes me feel drained. Sophie made a joke about how I'm secretly in love with her fiancé and I'm going to ruin the wedding, and everyone laughed. I just said, I'm not going to go. It was like all emotions just turned
There you
off.
go.
And I couldn't even be angry.
Go ahead.
I didn't care how any of them felt anymore. I said, I'm not going and I'm moving. So she won't see me anymore. I told her how awful she was and then left.
All right. Finally.
Wow. It only took forever.
Yeah.
After that, I got flooded with calls and texts from her asking me what was wrong with me, but I just don't care. I went to work and told them I'm taking my leave, which I was going to get paid out. And now I'm not working. I'm staying with my aunt in the state I'm moving to. And I move into my house next week. My dogs join me in 2 weeks. And yeah. But you can join us to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search a Poke Storytime. But folks, there's a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
I am really glad that she stood up for herself because I was going to commit an act of violence.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad.
I was gonna commit an act of
I was going to start to be violent, and I'm really glad that I don't have to do that anymore. So thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that, OP, because, oh man.
Oh man.
oh boy.
There's a
Oh, boy.
teensy bit left to the story. So we're gonna hit it.
Let's do it.
It's not a huge story. I think I'm emotionally burnt out. I reckon you are. It feels like all this anger built up and then like a sparkler just ended. I don't even want to think about them anymore. I just want to move on and pretend the chapter of my life never existed. So F you, Sophie. I hope your cake is salt in it instead of sugar, and I hope you spill red wine on your white dress.
Get her, OP.
Get her. Comment 1. What's gross is how Sophie knew she effed up everything and was poking the bear, you, about the situation.
Yeah.
She should have just kept her mouth shut. I'm glad you got out and we'll be free of them both. Comment 2 says, I hope a year from now, Jacob calls her and tells her they need to talk because he's been talking to Allison and he's in love with her and would like Sophie's permission to start dating her. Good for you, OP. Have a great life. You deserve it. Reply, good one. When man marries the mistress, he creates a vacancy. Comment 3, save some resentment for the ex-boyfriend too. I'd hate to think you were still in love with a wiener who'd break up by asking to date your then friend. They deserve equal scorn, and you're going to find much better friends and romantic partners after you've moved. Opie says, I am angry at him too. It's just that we don't speak. So I can't really say much about him other than I hope he chokes on a grape. Opie needs therapy.
My friend paid me $500 to leave the trip because they weren't comfortable with me.
You could have got some more money for that.
My partner Lauren and I are both 27 female. We are sapphics, child-free, homeowners, special ed teachers with very comfortable income. We splurge occasionally, but we budget and are frugal. By the way, this comes from Aziza29, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, Lauren has a longtime friend group of 5 girls. Yearly girls' trips meet in various places across the country, and we're in the U.S., using one friend, we'll call her Sally's timeshare. Enter the girls' July trip in Tahoe, Nevada. Usually partners don't attend, but the group agreed I could join because we would be flying in from another vacation. Okay, great. I'm happy to get to know my partner's friends more, and I'm a girl too, so it should be chill. Prior to the trip, Lauren booked a rental minivan to accommodate our large group with the girls' consent. That fell through, and another girl took it upon herself to book an alternate minivan without anyone else's input. A heads up would have been cool, but no big deal. Airport. Lauren and I made it to the destination airport on time. Turns out the rest of the group's plane was many hours delayed and rerouted. They informed us that they modified the rental car to a smaller vehicle for just their group and suggested we get our own. We had asked them to change it back and said we prefer to wait for them to only have one car. Radio silence after that.
Ah, the classic.
We asked for updates, but nobody responded for hours. At this point, we have no clue where in America they are, no ETA, no clue when they would arrive, just nothing. Our names are not on the hotel/car reservations, so we have nowhere to go. We are forced to buy gross overpriced airport food and lay on benches, which is super painful for me as I have a disability related to my hips and spine. We both had a bit of a meltdown from the stress. 11 hours later, 11 hours, they show up at 9:30 p.m. We've all been up since 2 a.m., so we give each other grace and go to bed. No more minivans are available, so we have to pile into a crappy work pickup truck with no legroom, super cramped. Nobody mentioned this obvious fact, and we moved on. I'm just thankful we're getting out of the airport at this point. Groceries. While we waited at the airport and they waited for their next flight, I asked to put our Walmart grocery order through for pickup, containing the list we all created together last week and agreed upon. We previously agreed this made sense overall when they all admitted that overspending is a historical issue on these trips. Plus, it'd be faster and less stressful given their plane delays. Nope. Huge pushback. Everyone hates Walmart. No one likes anything on the list. They don't want sourdough, brie, or cold brew and want to go to a store the next morning instead. I didn't push it. I understand they were very overwhelmed and frustrated from the travel issues and agreed. Next morning, I hear them making a list to go to the all-natural, all-organic grocery store. I almost exploded listening to them make an identical list to last night, including the sourdough, brie, cold brew, and other food they literally didn't want.
Annoying.
Lauren and I went to the pool while they shopped for 3 hours and spent almost $350, double what Walmart would have been. That's their choice, so we just let it go. Days 1 through 4. Things progressively got worse. We did river rafting, thrifted, went to the beach, ate fondue, but nobody is smiling. There's lots of silence and we're all avoiding eye contact. They opted to go to a coffee shop every morning for breakfast instead of eating the groceries. They all huddled in one bedroom to hang out or left for long periods of time without communicating. They got offended when we opted to eat sandwiches in the hotel room rather than go out for lunch. We had planned to drive to a spot to watch the sunset as a group, but they went without us because they didn't think we would want to come. That one really hurt. Night 4.
That's so crazy that they're like, yeah, sunsets. We just thought you guys didn't like
you
the
don't
beauty
like
of the
those,
world.
right? You don't want to see that. Night 4. Lauren was getting really upset, having anxiety about this group interaction. She set up a time to talk to her best friend Sally privately, one-on-one. It finally came out that Sally had been brooding/upset about many things. The biggest being that she and the other girls never wanted any partners, me, to come on the trip but didn't bring it up, and they're upset that I'm here. They don't feel like they can be themselves. Mind you, I'm a naturally quiet person. I've been going with the flow this whole time and letting these issues slide. At the end of the convo, Sally said that for her and the other girls' comfort, Lauren and I should leave in the morning. Lauren expressed concern that we might not be able to do that because we're in a remote area, transportation is limited, and hotels are really expensive. An Uber from Tahoe to Reno is $130. Hotels are $150 a night, and we have 2 nights to go. Changing flights would be $400 each, so that's off the table. Then Sally said she would send Lauren $500 for her to figure it out and leave in the morning. And she literally did. She sent us $500 just so we would leave.
That's and because what? Because you're just like a couple?
Yeah.
What is it about a partner being there that prevents you from just being yourselves?
You should have said you didn't want partners before she came on the trip. So we booked our last 2 nights at a hotel and left this morning. We're okay now, but I'm still pretty shocked that we got punted out by Lauren's best friend and baffled that she wanted us to leave that bad. Totally unwilling to work this out. Call me crazy, but a little communication would have gone a long way here. Am I overreacting? We have an edit to add. The invitation. All communication was through Lauren. The logistics were discussed via FaceTime call because flights needed to be coordinated. Lauren and I were flying from another vacation, so the topic of my attendance arose, and the girls enthusiastically stated that I should join. Lauren followed up with a text a few days later to double check on this and to give them an opportunity to share any concerns about my attendance, and was again met with positivity from everyone, including Sally, who owns the timeshare and would have final say. All they had to say was, "We want this trip to be just for friends. Let's not bring partners this time." I'd be totally respectful and would be happy to back off, fly home alone, and Lauren can do her thing in Tahoe with her friends. But nothing of the sort was said or hinted at. I understand people have a hard time saying no, and this would be uncomfortable to communicate, but they are adults. This is Sally's trip, and if she felt that someone should not attend, it is her responsibility to say so. Why did I choose to wait 11 hours at the airport? Not a great answer, but sunk cost fallacy. The first and only communication said they'd arrive in a couple hours. So we held out. We texted and called asking for additional updates, ETA, flight number, but didn't receive any responses. And so they showed up at baggage claim 11 hours later. Upon their arrival, we learned the delays had doubled and they had been rerouted with an unexpected stopover in a random city. We had no idea it would be 11 hours. If I had, we definitely would have figured out an alternate plan for the day. Also, we had 2 large suitcases that would be tough to drag to another location, and I used forearm crutches to walk, which makes the suitcases more of an issue. Not saying it couldn't be done, but it wouldn't be easy. Personality clashes. I grossly underestimated how much personalities/lifestyle preferences would clash on this trip. I spend my free time laying in the grass and listening to records with a cat on my lap. I like things cheap, clean, and quiet. I'm a textbook Virgo, organized and straightforward.
Sounds like you're living the dream.
My idea of a great vacation is camping in the middle of nowhere with some mushrooms. These are Miami Aries girls with designer purses who are very loud, spontaneous, and outgoing. They go places just for the photos and fluctuate between cross-faded and impulsive. Lauren can go either way and tends to follow the group, but she prefers a more settled/quiet life, hence why we're together. These women were literally all of Sally's bridal party. The group has lots of history. They are not people I'd pursue a friendship with on my own. I am their friend's girlfriend, not their friend. I knew we'd differ on a lot of things, but I didn't anticipate how big of a clash it would create. By the way, you'll never clash with us if you go listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. Got a little bit more, but...
Crazy that they're like, it's friends only. Maybe try making friends with one of your best friends' partners.
Also, though, they didn't say it was friends only. They were asked multiple times if she could come, and they were like, "Of course."
But like, yeah. But even that excuse is like, how are you as adults not able to just like make friends with your your friend's partner? Like, I get it. Maybe the vibes are different, but like.
You should at least be able to be friends. I can understand them being like, hey, don't come on this girls' trip that we do every year. But then they need to pull their big boy pants up and say that flat out, not let you get to the trip and then send you home. Why am I so frugal? Yes, we are dinks. About 50% of our income goes to retirement/savings, and we shop at the cheapest grocery store in town so that we can afford vacations on school breaks. We love to road trip, tent camp, and hang with family. We spent almost all of our 6-week vacation out of town. 10-night camping/road trip, 2 weeks with family, 1 week in DC, and this 1-week Tahoe trip all in a row. Wow, that's pretty sick. This being the last trip of the summer, we just wanted to chill at the pool and eat a PB&J, not blow money on horseback riding. Lastly, yes, I'm autistic and have been professionally diagnosed. Social situations are not my strong suit, and I could definitely improve in situational awareness and taking hints, so maybe this plays a larger role than I realized. I didn't originally include this because I didn't want autism to be an excuse, because it's not. Thank you for all the comments who told it to me straight. That's what I needed all along, and I have learned a lot from all of this. That is the end of that.
Well, all you can do is learn.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Sally and that whole group are definitely in the wrong, and it sucks to have gone through that and to feel that way, but, I mean, hopefully you guys can distance yourself from them. I don't know.
Because it's honestly so easy to just be chill.
Yeah.
You know, like, they could have just been like, oh, well, it's nice to meet you. Like, welcome to the trip. You know, it didn't have to be this, like, we're going to give you $500 to get out of here.
It's ridiculous.
I would never recover from that.
They had 2 more days left, and none of them could just suck it up, no matter how miserable they were. Like,
and what exactly made them so miserable? Just like
they just said vibes were different. Like,
yeah,
that's
it's
not,
crazy.
No, it was ridiculous.
If that's anyone's fault, it's not OP's fault. It's
not at all.
It's all the other girls' fault for
Yeah.
being like
Sally and her
petulant
little
with the vibe.
side friends, side bullies.
Yeah, crazy.
My girlfriend is mad at me just because I call my father sir.
Excuse me, ma'am.
I, 23 female, am from the deep south of the United States, while my girlfriend, 22 female, is from New England. We met at college when we were both freshmen and have been dating for 3
I'm
years.
so glad it said new.
Because all of my family is from the south as well, I was hesitant to introduce my girlfriend to them. So they just recently met her about 6 months ago. And I'm very lucky that my family has been supportive thus far. My girlfriend likes my family as well and has fit in well. However, there's been a problem since the beginning that has been worse than normal lately.
Uh-oh.
By the way, this comes from Terrible Print 6849 on the OK Storytime subreddit. The problem is the fact I call my father sir. Not exactly exclusively, I do still call him dad, but most of the time I'm addressing him as sir. For some reason, this makes my girlfriend uncomfortable. The first time she brought it up was after the first time she met my parents, mostly commenting on how she thought it was a little silly. I laughed with her and explained it was just a cultural thing and thought that would be the end of it. I was about to say it's just a cultural thing.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I say ma'am then more than I do sir.
To your mom?
Anyone?
Yeah. It, however, was not the end of it. She brought it up nearly every time we saw my parents, and it quickly turned from joking to explaining how it made her uncomfortable and that I shouldn't feel like I have to call my dad that. I explained on multiple occasions that I don't feel like I strictly had to call him sir, and that it wasn't something that I was punished for not doing as a child or anything. It was just how things were. I call everyone I interact with sir or ma'am, from my 4-year-old cousin to any adult I speak with. She just doesn't seem to get it. I understand that it isn't really a thing where she's from, but that's just how things are down here. Things came to a bit of a head a few days ago when we had dinner at my parents', and as usual, I called my father sir, no different than any time I was with him. I noticed my girlfriend was a little quiet at dinner, but I didn't think much of it since sometimes she's on the quieter side. However, when we got in the car afterwards, she started talking about how I call my dad sir yet again. She explained that it made her uncomfortable because that is a title used for someone who has authority over you. She used the example as in the bedroom, and I shouldn't believe my father has any sort of control over me. I explained that I respected my father as he raised me to be the person I am today, the same with my mom, and once again tried to say that it was a little more than a cultural difference between the two of us. I'm not sure exactly what set her off, but she went off about how it made it sound like me and my dad have a weird relationship and that it sounds like a spicy desire.
What?
Your girlfriend is weird. I'll admit I got angry when she said that, but I did my best to not overreact. I asked her if she felt the same way about me calling my mother ma'am, and she said no. In the end, she asked that I never call my dad sir around her or not, and that if I did, I was disrespecting her boundaries. I said plain and simple that I was not going to stop calling him sir. And she got silent and is not speaking to me. I honestly don't see how I might be the a-hole here, but I want to hear from other people. If I'm truly in the wrong, I will do my very best to fix it and do better. And there is an update. No.
I'm just trying to think how to explain this to your parents.
Yeah, you're like, hey, Dad.
We're having some
We're having a little
issues."
bit of a tiff.
Oh, why is that, son?
I don't like it. First, some things to clarify. I not only call my dad sir, but pretty much every male in my life, from young children I work with to homeless people on the street. The same goes with calling females ma'am. It is just my father. My girlfriend has a problem with me calling sir. No other males. Also, for everyone suggesting or outright asking, the title sir has no place in our bedroom life. We use titles, that is not one of them. Anyway, I've tried several times over the past week to speak with my girlfriend about what went down, but she refused to talk for the most part, and I wasn't going to push her. It wasn't until tonight that I finally got a chance to sit down and have a real conversation with her. I read every single comment my original post got and asked her about several things. Someone suggested I ask if she had seen any example of my father trying to control me in any way. This got her worked up, and she walked away from the conversation for a little while,
claiming I was trying to attack her. I gave her time to calm down and was honestly surprised when she returned to the conversation. She explained to me that it wasn't that she had seen specific things with my father trying to control me, but rather an undertone that I was in his control. I asked what she meant, but she didn't really have any other explanation beyond that because she doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any proof. She's just being weird. I honestly don't know what undertone she was talking about. I respect my father and his knowledge and experience beyond mine, but I am a grown adult. I live and think independently and am perfectly capable of making my own decisions. I've occasionally asked for my father's advice on things since we've been together. Life advice, not relationship. And that may be what she's talking about, but I'm not sure. Another thing people brought up was a possibility of her having trauma around the title. I experienced regular essay as a child and she knows that, so we've had conversations about the topic, but this was the first time I asked her outright if she had been through anything like that. And if that was the case, I would not hesitate to call my father something else to avoid triggering her. She said no, that she hadn't been through anything like that, and I honestly believe her. That isn't something she would be dishonest about. However, my offer to stop saying it if it was triggering her did the opposite of what I had hoped. She blew up at me, screaming that if I could stop because she was triggered, then why couldn't I stop just because she didn't like it? I tried to stay calm and explain that being weirded out by something is nothing close to having traumatic thoughts triggered, but she just kept going. In her yelling, she mentioned her boundary again and that I was being toxic. At this point, I could feel myself getting angry and said we could finish the conversation another time. She stormed out and I haven't spoken to her at all for the past several hours. Now, I've just been contemplating. I really don't want to give in and change how I address other people. I feel like she's being unreasonable, but maybe I'm the one being unreasonable. I'm just unsure how to proceed here. The thought of possibly ending the relationship has come up, but that seems like me making a bigger deal out of it than it is. I don't know. I'd be thankful for any advice on what to do. And there is another update.
Yeah.
But I don't think OPs would be making a big deal out of it. It's the girlfriend who's making the big deal. Like, if you guys break up, it's because of her.
Oh, yeah. Overreacting over this.
And it also seems like every time OP's like feeling herself get angry, she's like, you know what? Take a minute, come back when we're able to be calm because her girlfriend keeps trying to escalate these arguments. Honestly, after posting my last update and getting comments about how my girlfriend is crazy and a walking red flag, I got a little defensive. Not wanting to think that about her, but more recent events have really opened my eyes.
Here we go.
There you go. Here it is. My girlfriend returned to our home the morning after I posted the first update, but didn't want to talk. But I didn't mind because it gave me more time to think. Eventually, I told her we need to sit down and have a real conversation. No yelling. No accusations, and if she did either of those things, I would be pausing the conversation. She wasn't happy, but she agreed to it. I asked her again about trauma, more specifically her relationship with her father. I've interacted with her father many times and haven't noticed anything, but not all things are easily noticeable. So I asked anyway. She said that I was projecting my own issues with my father, which I don't have, onto her. And I can't comprehend an appropriate and respectful relationship between father and daughter. What is she?
Oh, wow.
Where's she coming up with this?
Oh, wow. You're trying to understand. And she's like, you're just projecting.
I did my best.
And then she's projecting.
Yeah, she's
because
projecting
she thinks
her
that you're
issues.
projecting. And then maybe you're actually projecting because maybe you do have issues. But maybe you're not because they have issues and they're putting that on you and it just is endless.
It's an endless cycle. I did my best not to react to this and moved on. We talked in circles for a long time about everything that happened, and she eventually yelled out that she didn't feel respected in a relationship, that her telling me the first time that me calling my father sir made her uncomfortable should have been the end of it, that I shouldn't be prioritizing something as stupid as what I call my father over her, and that if I didn't stop, she would be breaking up with me. This girl is crazy. She also mentioned she didn't like how often we went to see my family, 5-ish times a month.
Aww.
That worried me, and I asked her if she felt unwelcome or anything around my family. And she said no, but talked about how I am an adult who needs to live my own life, and once again brought up breaking up with her if I didn't change things.
Oh, wow. So we have expectations we need to live up to. Great.
But you should never change. Joining us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Just tap her profile. But before we get into it, not only is the title thing a huge red flag, but the fact that now she's like, I don't even want you to visit your family. Like, she's like, oh, you're an adult. You can't see your family 5 times a month. What?
Yeah.
Some people are just close with their families.
Yeah.
She can't seem to comprehend that.
OP's a family gal.
Yeah. I see my family like at least 1 to 2 times a week. Some people like their families.
Yeah, I see Angie's family like 3 or 4 times a month.
Yeah.
And if I was near my family, I probably would.
Exactly. Some people like their families.
Yeah.
And just because, I mean, I'm sorry. Just because, like, it sucks if her girlfriend doesn't have a close relationship with her family, but don't put that out on other people.
Yeah, stop projecting that.
Projecting.
Yeah.
I ended the conversation when it didn't seem like she had anything else to say and said I needed to do some thinking. I've thought for a while and finally have made the decision to break things off with her. It's not an easy decision, and I still feel a little ridiculous for breaking it off over something so little as this, but I've come to realize that it's not just that. If this is the kind of person she's going to be and how she was going to go about conflict, I think it's best if I'm no longer with her.
Let's go.
Woo! I haven't had the conversation with her about that yet, but I know I need to soon. I sometimes struggle to put my thoughts together the right way, so any advice on how to approach that without setting her off again would be appreciated. And that is the end of that story.
All right, OP.
I think you're making the right decision.
Heck yeah.
She's intense, and I don't like her.
I don't like her either.